project a podcast that's received such rave reviews as garbage, absolute objective failure, and possibly one of the biggest affronts to God known to man. I'm Car Sausage. I'm the Michigander here on this train wreck. Who are you people?
Hi, my name is Aiden. I live in Northern California, and I'm very happy after Thanksgiving. I guess y'all know why. Hi, my name is Aiden. I
Mm.
live in Northern California.
I'm
Hello, I am Nick Man, and I just want to declare to the entire world for like the 1000th time, ham clears turkey.
They're both food. I like food.
That's a good take. That's a
Boo,
proper
ham
take.
stinks. Boo.
That doesn't matter. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
who are you?
I'm not sure. I'm eating food.
Okay. Where you from? The Mastora eating food.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm from North.
From North, guys. So
North.
Take a guess where that is.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. Maple Leafs.
Pain. Pain. That's all there is pain and suffering and agonizing
Losing
pain.
Pony driver.
Zamboni driver and touchdown Oregon, and that feels like the dagger.
Yeah. I thought Oregon State was gonna do something, but no.
I feel like Oregon
There's
State's
another
just
quarterback
they're not
to look at. Oh, Knicks.
they're not handling the atmosphere well in Eugene.
Mhm.
Feels like they're not converting to fourth downs either. But yeah, Oregon's just starting to run away with this.
Yeah.
What do
Good old-
Oregon State and
Or should I
Stanton
say
have in common?
crabs?
What do Oregon State and Stanton have in common?
Mm.
They're allergic
Right.
to Eugene.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a good one. That's actually a good one.
Anyways, four games of football in the past 2 days. Playoff races are beginning to form. How do we feel about the Lions and the Packers?
Well, the Lions. Honestly, I think I'm happy for them because for those keeping up with the Untitled Sickos Project lore, aka all the FBI agents who are keeping track of me, you all know my mom is a big Lions fan, and so obviously she's happy that they're doing the best they've done since she was 1 year old. And honestly, although honestly, I'm not too sure how far they can get in the playoffs, considering the performance they had against Green Bay, and as well as the performance they had in Chicago before Chicago realized they're the Bears. No offense, it's like you kind of have to worry. How does Jared Goff do against a blitz that changes its look at the snap? How are they going to do against teams like the Eagles or the 49ers or even the Minnesota Vikings? That'd be a team I'd have to worry about now, with how Brian Flores is doing with their defense. As for the Packers, I'd calm down about playoffs. I don't think they have what it takes to make the Yoffs, as it were.
I'm kind of still iffy about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Jordan Love has played great for these past 2 games. He's done a very good job with this team for the past 2 days, for 2 games. this could be the year where they finish 8-9 in a really weak NFC. That's enough to get the 7th seed. My question is more of what is Jordan Love the guy, and I think that's the question that's going to be answered next year. I think Jordan Love has earned more looks as the season concludes into next year. So that's good for him.
With how bad he looked against Minnesota, I couldn't be more happy with that news.
So I mean, the North wants the guy to suck and everything. It might not happen yet.
I just don't want him. Look, I don't want him to suck out loud. I just want him to be mediocre enough that the Packers keeping him, but bad enough that the Vikings can still one up him.
We'll see. Vikings.
So basically, you want him to become Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo and or Don Majkowski.
I guess the way I see it with Packers Lions, I guess the way I see it, because I haven't seen this game. Green Bay, I mean, I will say these past couple of weeks, yeah, they've done. Jordan Love has looked good, but I still don't think he will. I still don't see him as, okay, this guy will be the next Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, but he's looking more and more like, okay, he'll be a fine quarterback. He'll be a good quarterback. And honestly, at the end of the day, while that might not be, the legendary quarterbacks Green Bay's had, it's still good to have. I mean, you'll still be happy if you're the Packers to more than get that. And I will say, the play calling from LaFleur has definitely been a lot better these past couple of games. I will say that. At least, it's been looking a lot better. However, I will say the main thing to me about Green Bay, and I feel like what's really important for them and whether or not they will be a playoff team or not, regardless of what their record is, it's really going to come down to their defense. Because, as you know, Packers fans have a not so great relationship when it comes to their defensive coordinator, Joe Barry. It's been well documented how much they do not like Joe Barry. And I can understand why, because, Packers have had a lot of bad defensive performances, or just performances where it feels like their defense underachieves. However, these past couple of games, I feel like their defense has been playing very well. It's been doing what they gotta do, holding guys like Justin Herbert, or like containing guys like Justin Herbert and Jared Goff, and making them look a lot, weaker than they usually are. And I feel like credit needs to be given to Barry, regardless of how divisive of a figure he is with the Packers fan base. I think the Packers defense has done a swell job, and they will be what makes or breaks, Green Bay being a playoff team. Meanwhile, for the Lions, well, it's been well documented the Lions have not been a good Thanksgiving team by any means. However, I find it hilarious that whenever like a certain moon happens on Thanksgiving Day, the Lions are 0-13.
Is it a full moon or was it a?
It's a waxing gibbous moon.
Yeah, Lax and Gibbous moon, and they're 0-13 whenever that happens on Thanksgiving. And I was like, well, we're gonna see how powerful this curse really is, and it's very fucking powerful.
We just got picked off.
Oregon State got picked off.
Yeah, I think Oregon's going to win. I think it's going to be a rematch. We're going to get another fantastic game in the Pac-12. Oregon and Washington. That's going to be a good game. It's going to be really fun to watch for all parties.
But, going back to the Lions, I mean, even before this Packers game, yes, they did beat the Bears mainly because the Bears crumbled in the final minutes, but there was a lot of bad signs in that, in the game against Chicago, especially on both sides of the ball, where it felt like Jared Goff looked very, Goff looked off, but also the Lions defense, these past 3 games, the Lions defense has not played well. Like, they have been really struggling, and I feel like regardless of how Goff does, that is a very serious concern if you're the Lions in terms of how far you want to go. Because I do feel like Detroit, I mean, at the end of the day, the Lions' goal at the end of the day is make the playoffs and go from there. That's been the goal, I feel like, all season is, okay, we haven't made the playoffs yet with this core. Let's make the playoffs. We do that. Great job. And after that, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do if we get there. And I still feel like Detroit is easily a playoff team. They're a very good team by far. But that defense is really been concerning me these past couple of games. And there's a reason many Lions fans are calling for Aaron Glenn to be fired right now. And the thing is, I don't blame them. Because this is not what you want. This is not what you want to be seeing from a defense that I said in the NFC North preview, how far the Lions go will depend on how their defense plays.
Yeah, but also it doesn't help the Lions are dealing with like a lot of injuries on their secondary. It doesn't help.
That is true. Obviously, that's not going to help. However, I feel like even with that notion, these past couple of weeks have definitely felt like, okay, this has been much worse than even some of the off performances we've seen from the Lions defense, and I feel like Lions fans have every right to be mad at the defensive coaching staff right now, because this is just not the Lions defense should not be, playing this badly. And I will say this, I will also add on to this, that was probably, if I had to say, that was very likely the worst game the Lions O-line has played this season, because they kept giving up a lot of pressures all game against the Packers.
They got beat in the trenches. They got beat. You can't get beat by that. But I mean, I don't consider the Packers to have like a very strong defensive line. I mean, I know Rashawn Gary's good, and they have a couple of other studs. But I mean, to get beat by them after I know Chicago has a much improved defensive line. It's going to look a lot better next year. And they were able to get away with that. And you got to look at trying to readjust something. I mean, they'll have 10 days to figure it out, but to look really...
Yeah, I mean, I could see this being a kick in the ass loss for the Lions that they could really use. It really depends on like how they respond from this, because obviously after a performance like that, you want to see a response.
Yeah, it's going to be important for them to respond. Who do they play next?
They play the Saints on the road.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's going to be a huge response game for this team.
That would be a good test for Detroit, especially with especially for the defense, because we know how sluggish the Saints' offense has been.
Yeah, that Pete Carmichael offense. I've seen myself move faster to catch a bus that's at the station.
Yeah. Pete Carmichael, aka the NFC's version of Matt Canada.
I've seen my cat run faster for Tritos than Pete Carmichael's offense. Yeah. My cat's a fat little shit.
Pete Carmichael is like if each offense is like a drummer, Pete Carmichael is like the guy from AC/DC, just doing the same boring, slow 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 kind of drumming, just such dad rock. He's the dad rock coordinator.
I feel like without Sean Payton / Drew Brees, that's what the Saints are. They're like that. Exactly that. They're just bland and there. And then do you guys remember Katrina and stuff?
That's the whole reason they got away with Bounty Gate for that Super Bowl. They needed it because, oh my god, the feels of the hurricane.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I keep thinking that's like in the 2010s, but no, I think that was like, what, 2008, 09?
Hurricane Katrina was 2005.
No, I know Katrina, but the Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl 2009.
Super Bowl. Super
That was
Bowl.
2009.
2009. Okay.
That was
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like this, I knew Katrina was like 04, 05. I wasn't so sure when they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Louisiana governor moved slow enough that the Super Bowl was considered a healing moment for them.
Interesting statement to say. That's for sure. That's quite interesting to say.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously at the time, like, nobody outside of the people connected to the Saints or the NFL, or unless you were, like, a player having to face the Saints in the postseason and having to take some of those hits, basically, unless you were that, people did not know what was going on behind the scenes. However, I will say, watching the video about Bountygate, like, one of the YouTubers made a very good, like, 30-minute video on, like, Bountygate and, like, what happened. Like, watching those hits and those, like, Cardinals and the Vikings playoff games, it's like, wow, that was, it feels kind of surreal when you know the context behind it.
Yeah, I mean, they basically ended Kurt Warner's career, like, on live television.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I also remember, speaking of that, before we get to the next topic, I also just want to say, like, yeah, it's like whenever I watch some of those games, Saints games from the era, and I just see, like, whether it be, like, 2000, like, after 2009, like, 2010 and 2011, I see, like, some hard hits, it's like, yep, that's Bountygate. It just connects in my mind so quickly. It's like, yep, that's a Bountygate moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, there were
speaking of Thanksgiving games,
we have
them
Cowboys.
And Jerry Jones got to salivate again. He was like, "Oh, Becky, I love you so much."
Thank God. Thank God, Dick.
A lot of people in AT&T Stadium were salivating for a multitude of reasons, and I'm not just talking about the play on the field.
Yeah, it was.
We need to talk about Tony Romo after the halftime.
I don't know.
Check out the Be My Scent.
I mean, do you had if I swear people were thirst trapping over Dolly Parton or Patton, wherever her last name is. Parton?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
I will say though,
good on that.
Slow down Jolene, it turns into a bop. Not gonna lie.
I mean, the fact that she nailed her halftime show over the other guy.
Oh, fuck
Yeah,
Jack Harlow, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. The Jack Harlow halftime performance. I love seeing the stage, and it's like, good lord, this feels like it got bought at Party City or something. Like, it's so small from Ford Field.
It's so Detroit, though. It's...
He died when he came out of that fucking igloo, bro.
Oh my!
Damn, if you're gonna do hip hop, I mean, Detroit's one of the perfect places to do hip hop. But for God's sake, I know it's only Thanksgiving, but could you not have gotten Eminem or something?
Like, there's a lot of music they could have done for Detroit. You know, like Eminem, Bob Seger, The White Stripes, D-Mac Cash, Megatron.
No, like,
Or not Megatron,
yeah.
Babytron.
Yeah, like,
Oh, Big Sean. Good point, Jake.
You know what the hilarious thing is? As awful as Jack Harlow's performance was, it still wasn't as bad as BB Rex's performance in 2022.
Oh, God.
Is it back-to-back years Detroit has put up stinkers?
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
back-to-back years.
No.
At this point,
Back-to-back
next
years
year
of-
Detroit should just hire Grant McDonald.
Yeah, at this rate, like, the Detroit halftime show for the most part feels cursed, because I also remember, like, I believe it was 2019, there was, like, some country duo doing the halftime show, and the fucking power went out at halftime. Like, right as the show was starting, the power went out, and it's like, I was just fucking laughing hysterically at that. But yeah, the halftime show for like the Detroit Thanksgiving games just feel cursed.
It almost feels like they look at the like Todd in the Shadows top 10 worst list and are like, yeah, them.
Yes, yes, Jake. Detroit needs to get Nickelback next year. I agree.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Yes. I would absolutely love Nickelback to do the Detroit halftime show.
Oh man,
Honest, genuinely, either get Nickelback or get Weezer, just for the hell of
Oh, Weezer would be
Tegan's gonna love
funny.
Weezer.
Tegan would lose his marbles for that.
You know who else would like it? Megumi Fushiguro. He's canonically a Weezer fan.
Very
Is
good.
he the one that likes all that terrible 2000s butt rock? Like Puddle of Mud and shit?
Oh, remember? Oh yeah, remember the post with Travis and Jason Kelsey? They were like,
Oh, yeah.
Puddle Mud concert.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I
it was
saw
like
that
looking
photo.
at like it was like looking into the crowd at a Stained concert.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great. I remember Perna posting about that. But yeah. Speaking of halftime shows aside, a game ended up happening and the commies got destroyed.
I mean,
Also, Deron
Yeah,
Bland has more touchdowns than many of your favorite wide receivers.
that's sad. That's
yeah,
just
honestly,
sad. Like, here's the thing. This year for the commies, it's just a wash. You're just getting a better draft position to start your foundation. You're going to get the best offensive lineman or your best defensive tackle. Something in the trenches, or who knows, could be Marvin Harrison Jr. for all we know. Your next coach is Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Their next coach is definitely
Yeah,
100%.
Eric
Del Rio
Bieniemy.
got fired.
Yes, Jack Del Rio is now getting ready to learn retirement homes.
The one thing though
He
is
got the Fox News down pat, just like my grandpa.
the Commanders.
Yeah.
They're gonna need to hire a GM soon.
I agree. Yeah, they're gonna need a GM.
Yep.
I mean, I'll say this.
I will
I'll
say,
say.
genuinely, the play calling was very bad. Like, for the Commanders, like, there were a few times where I thought the commies could get back into it, and it's very disappointing that they couldn't. Cause like, there was 2 plays in a row they were at like 3rd and 4th and inches respectively. And for some god awful reason they decided to snap the ball from shotgun formation.
Oh,
Like,
God.
what was
Yeah.
that
Hey.
all
So
about?
let me just say this. I am really, really fucking tired of seeing every football team, whether it's an NFL team or a college football team, whenever it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they snap it in shotgun.
It's the best
And I'm
formation.
so tired. I'm so tired of seeing it just about every single play. If it's not a quarterback sneak, it's a fucking shotgun play, and it's tiring as hell.
I don't know what the hell teams are thinking. It's not smart.
It's like, I understand, like, the defenses, I understand that a lot of times, okay, it can be, it can look weird for the defenses that are saying that, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't work. Even if the defenses aren't expecting it, it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, like, seriously, when you snap from the shotgun, you have more yards to go. Why don't
It's just
coaches understand that?
It's just, oh my
I
I'm just
don't.
like, it's been a trend I've noticed for like a good while now, but it's like, it's just this past week or so, every time there's a 4th down play happening, unless you're the damn Eagles, you best believe they're gonna be in shotgun formation.
I mean, there's the tush push that is teams have,
The
you
Eagles
know,
fucking know
even
what
though
they're
it
doing.
won't work.
The Eagles know what they're doing with the brotherly shove.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, right,
And
brotherly
the
shove. My
other
bad.
coaches, it seems like, oh, we're too smart to run the tush push. We're gonna snap
Like
it
I
from the shotgun
understand,
and play action.
like I understand that some teams, yeah, I know, yeah, I know, some teams, some teams just can't do like the tush push like the Eagle, or god damn it, the brotherly shove. I need to remember the brotherly shove is a better name than the tush push.
It is. It
However,
really
there's some teams
is.
that can't do it with the O line or if their quarterback's not strong enough. But for God's sake, get a better play than shotgun. It's not working.
It do not work. I mean, come on. I formation works where the halfback leads a run, or you do like a play action where you fake the handoff to like the running back or the fullback, and then you just hook it to your hook to your lead. I
Like,
mean,
even Todd Haley in 2017 knew what to do on, like, 3rd and 4th and short.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's just if it doesn't work, don't try and force it to work, people. It's not worth it.
The round peg does not go in the square hole.
Exactly.
I do want
Not
to say,
everyone can be Kyle Shanahan, just saying.
yeah, yep. I do want to say though, yeah, I mean, regarding the Washington coaching staff, I mean, everyone knew Jack Del Rio was not gonna survive after this season. It was a matter of if he was getting fired after the season or during it, and as we see now, it was during the season, because, yeah, Washington's defense got cooked again. And I mean, personally, I mean, I get why they haven't done it because it's such a poorly kept secret that Ron Rivera is not coming back after this season. Like everyone knows he's gone once week 18 comes to an end. Um, however, it's just yeah, it's time for Ron Rivera to call it a career, in my opinion. It's very clear he's past his prime. Like,
Oh,
he's
no.
past it. Yes. Yes. The Tommy should hire
Yes.
Adam Gase.
Do it, please.
Washington's hiring Adam Gase.
Do it, you cowards. Do it.
Yes, do it. I need to see it would make for incredible Magic Johnson post-game tweets. It'd be so perfect.
Oh, it'd be so beautiful. I want it more than anything. I want to see that more than anything.
I just want to see those bug eyes back on the sideline, man.
Oh, these bug eyes are so adorable.
He gets to look at the invisible taco again.
Yay!
Yeah,
I like it when he
anyway,
lets
I
me
do want to say
smoke.
this. I do want to, but yeah, I mean, Washington, it's just, yeah, I mean, we know what Washington's doing this offseason. They're getting a new coach. Very likely that coach will be Eric Bieniemy, and basically after that, you just have to completely overhaul the defense, get some guys, and obviously overhaul whatever you call an offensive line that they have there. I mean, because we gotta remember, this is also coming off a game where the Commanders lost to Tommy DeVito at home.
They got DeVito'd, bro.
I mean, I thought Spencer's upset was pretty stupid. Then I was like, oh yeah, Washington. The Giants just kind of. I don't know what is it with the Giants. They just have the Commanders' number. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback for the Giants. They'll beat them, no problem. They could have Drew Plitt at quarterback. They'll still win. Should have been Kyle
Wait, I have an
Sloter.
idea. They could have Danny DeVito at quarterback.
Danny
DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
I will say though with the Cowboys, I do want to say this because, I mean, my stance on Dallas is the same. They're a very good team indeed. I still do not view them as the same level as a team like the Niners and Eagles. However, I will say with Dallas, I do have to give him his praise. These past 5 games, Dak Prescott, for the most part, outside of the ending to the Eagles game, Dak Prescott has been playing his ass off. I will say that. I
yeah.
will say he's been playing some great football as of late outside of that ending to the Philadelphia game. Now, whether he keeps it up remains to be seen, but if you're a Cowboys fan, you do gotta be pleased at the fact that Dak is, he's doing what he's gotta do and he's being efficient. And that's something that was a major problem last season, even when he would have strong games. It felt like he wasn't efficient, and these past couple of games, he's been much more efficient, and it's been showing with how he's been doing. And I will say it doesn't help that I cannot get that freaking snap command that he keeps doing out of my head now. The freaking yeah, here we go. I can't get that out of my head now because he keeps doing it.
That's
How
funny.
much deeper Dak Prescott's voice has gotten.
Here we go.
It's deep as shit.
Is it gonna be the new Omaha?
Yeah, it's gonna be the new Omaha, but goddamn.
Oh my god, yes.
Shit now.
It's like he went to like vocal therapy or something.
Vocal therapy. What the
Yeah.
He'll go up to the sideline and be like,
Maybe he ate a bunch of rocks.
just had to get our guys to execute the right way, and
It's a great way to get in shape.
I mean, dude's sounding more and more like the Undertaker with every passing week with how deep his voice is getting.
if he comes out and you just hear that bell gong.
Oh god.
Anyway. Yeah, anyway, I think we got one more fucking game to talk about.
Yeah. One more.
In between two people here.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Unfortunately, we do.
By the
and
way,
also-
Jake is asking, let me join when you talk about the Jets.
Yes, I already gave you the role. I think I've already done that. I'm already way ahead of you. That's why I've asked you to be here. We need the Jets.
Yeah, you did. So when we talk about the Jets, you can come in.
So I've given you the role to join already. So anyways, the Seahawks. That was a game. Okay, I think we can talk about the Jets. No, I'm kidding.
Hold on. I want to say something. About the damn Seahawks. I do want to say something.
Fuck.
Hey, I just need to say it, okay? Because you've been having the spotlight when it comes to talking about the Seahawks and how, oh god, this season's going to hell. But god damn it, I just gotta say, I don't know. I did not know the name of your offensive coordinator until this week, but now that I do, I just want to say, he's on the hot seat now. That's all that needs to be said.
I can agree.
What's his name?
I mean, here's my thing with the Seahawks. Geno Smith is regressing. He is regressing. I'm not angry with Shane Waldron. I just don't think we have a quarterback to put all these pieces together. This is probably as weirdly said. It's not the year for quarterback play this year if you compare it to other years. Defensive coordinators have figured out how to stop most offenses on a day-to-day basis. It's just, to me, I hate seeing Geno just not playing very well. But it's not. I don't even blame Shane Waldron for it. It's not. I think it's more to me Geno's fault than it is Shane's.
Yeah, I can understand that because I said it earlier, but from the way I've seen it, Geno just looks off. He doesn't have it definitely doesn't feel like he doesn't have that composure that he had last season, which I think was a big reason why he did so well. Was he felt comfortable, he knew what he was doing, and he got the plays done that needed to get done. And right now, it just doesn't feel that way.
I hate to make it about the Vikings, but he looked a lot like the Geno Smith that once threw a pick six to Gerald Hodges to a very mediocre Vikings team.
I really feel that the Geno Smith I'm seeing is Tavares Jackson. That's what I'm seeing.
That's a good comparison. Yeah,
which means we're going to be drafting our franchise quarterback in next year's draft in the 3rd round or 1st round.
just make sure you don't sign a Matt Flynn in the offseason.
No, we're signing. We're signing a Matt
Yeah,
Flynn.
I mean,
we have to sign Matt Flynn again. I don't care. We have to sign exactly Matt Flynn. It can't be anybody else. It has to only be Matt Flynn.
But I do
you guys
want to
already
say,
have a Matt Flynn, Drew Lock.
oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's true. He'll just so here's the script. Locke goes off in the final game of the season, gets a big contract, then the Seahawks draft their guy, and that guy ends up being the next big thing in Seattle.
Okay, if that's right, I will know. If that somehow universally ends up being right, I will stop watching VTubers. Are you fucking kidding me?
All right, good bet. Anyway, I just want to say this. I just want to say with Seattle, it's just Geno definitely doesn't look 100%, and I also just want to say, like, I'm not trying to deflect blame from Geno here, but let's not lie. Seahawks O-line got absolutely destroyed by the 49ers. They were no match at all.
I knew it was going to
happen. They were no match.
Our O-line hasn't been good all year.
Yeah,
dude, your O-line coach should be arrested for elder abuse. He put Jason Peters against Nick Bosa.
Well, here's the thing.
That's elder abuse.
Like we have our O-line's I know our O-line is pretty banged up, but like the fact that we got abused by Bosa, we got abused by the other guys that are on the team. I'm just.
And really, it says something the way I see it. Like, literally, the Seahawks offense, I feel, was only responsible for 3 points of the 13 points the Seahawks scored. Because that first field goal, that was because of your special teams, and obviously the interception return was because of your defense.
Exactly.
Like, literally, that third quarter field goal was really the only true production that the Seahawks offense had all game.
And do I know a fun fact? Brock Purdy threw more touchdowns for the Seahawks than Geno Smith. And Christian McCaffrey had more touchdowns for the Seahawks than their entire offense.
Like, it really says something that Brock Purdy didn't even really play that well, and that the Niners just felt in control the entire game. It didn't even matter.
That's what hurts so much about it. Because, like, I don't want the Seahawks to just tank away. I do now. But we were waiting all season for this team to really put it all together, right? Like, there are opportunities that I felt Geno has had to try to establish himself as a starting quarterback, and we haven't gotten that. Our red zone offense has been atrocious. Settling for field goals. Not converting in 4th downs inside the red zone. Like, that kind of nonsense is something that I've been seeing all year long with this team.
Oh yeah, the last play in fourth and short, you guys lined up in a freaking shotgun.
Yeah.
You guys could have done like a brotherly shove or something.
No, our O-line was not going to beat that defensive line. I understand a little bit of why you go in shotgun, because to me, it's you give Geno Smith at least a couple of extra seconds to throw the ball before the pressure gets there. And to me, it's Geno Smith. I don't know if we can find like a happy median where Geno can just have a little bit more of a clutch throws. We have the players to do it. We have DK. We have Tyler Lockett, who are incredible players. Just use them. And I feel like Geno's just...
Oh, JSN, by the way.
JSN too, man. Holy smokes. They have probably a very good receiving core if you just have a quarterback that allows them to use all these pieces. Which is why I can't blame Shane. I feel like the biggest blame on all of this is Geno Smith. It's the most important position quarterback is. And
talking like Yoda.
And I'll probably just be upset about this for a while, but I'm done with Geno. I'm okay with letting Geno marinate, allowing our next QB to marinate for a season. But I'm done. I'm done with Geno. He's not the guy. I thought he could be like we all knew what he was, the short-term guy. We knew what the contract what it was. But Geno's not clearly not the long-term solution. And I hope this team does find that long-term solution for the next man that will be under center for the next generation of Seahawks players. And I mean, this organization as a whole has been very good at finding guys. Matt Hasselbeck, Russell Wilson. In my lifetime, Seattle has had a franchise guy. Whether it was Russell Wilson or Matt Hasselbeck. We've always had a good quality player that will be under center for a long time. We've had transitional guys like that Tavares Jackson kid and Matt Flynn for like 2 preseason games. And that was it.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I'll just, to close it off before we get to you-know-who, Seahawks, it's just, yeah, season's trending the wrong direction. It's just, Seattle's just, definitely changes will need to be made this offseason. What those changes are, I mean, some of them are predictable. They'll draft a quarterback. Whether he starts next season immediately remains to be seen, but at the very least, you get your quarterback and you go from there. And San Francisco, safe to say, Super Bowl contenders easily once again.
Yeah, I suppose we
now,
should let Aiden speak. Have his,
Jake, you can join now, or we're talking
in
about
here. Jake's in here.
I've just been a background listener because like this is your conversation. I don't want to butt in.
All right, Jake.
Can I say something about the Seahawks quickly?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I mean I pretty much agree. I mean, look, Gino last year, great story, but it's clear just based off this year, he's not the guy, and that it's time for Seattle to find another quarterback in the future.
Yeah,
it's time.
No matter who it is, whether it be fucking Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I'm okay if we start Geno Smith next year. I'd rather we marinate our quarterback unless it's another Russell Wilson situation.
Although
Then
I do wonder if
full speed ahead.
Maybe Seattle should have traded up for Anthony Richardson in hindsight. I'm thinking about that right now.
The idea thing is if the Colts didn't draft Anthony Richardson, Seattle was absolutely going to draft Anthony Richardson. But I don't mind Dalvin Witherspoon has been a stud.
Oh, you should be happy with Witherspoon. I'm just saying it's a fun little scenario to think about.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good what if.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right. All right, Mr. Jake, the doctor will see you now for your therapy session. Have a seat on our nice couch and regale us in the tale of how the butt fumble the golden egg.
Okay, hold on. Before I start, I have to ask: is this mic on?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question, and this is to quote a certain Pepsi-drinking Chicagoan. Do I have everybody's attention now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Yep.
I'm going to sit crisscross, I'm going to sit on the stage and drop a pipe bomb. This is not just... Okay, this is not, like, about this game specifically. This is like, been boiling over the entire season, pretty much. I mean, I could start in a number of places, but I feel like I should start with the topic's been beaten to a dead horse at this point, and that's the quarterback situation. I mean, I really don't know what there is to say that hasn't really been said already about the quarterback situation. Obviously, they make the trade. They get Aaron Rodgers. Big deal, woohoo. Obviously, we all know what happened on Monday Night Football. 4 plays in. His Achilles is gone, done for the season. And everyone was screaming, oh, the Jets need to sign or trade for a quarterback now. Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Carson Wentz even. But they were like, nope. We have our guy in the building already, and his name is Zach Wilson. Now look, I feel like there were a few games, the Chiefs game specifically, where Zach Wilson looked like the number 2 overall pick. But unfortunately, those games have been very few and far between in his career, and pretty much every other game has been the Zach Wilson we've seen the first 2 years in his NFL career. And when you have a roster like this and a defense like this who is ready to win now, that is doing them a very bad disservice, and it is just making them it is putting pressure on them to play perfect every week and pitch a shutout and get like multiple defensive touchdowns, because if they don't, this team is not going to win. Which pretty much brings us to this week's game. I mean, obviously, after the the Bills game. Yeah, I got the Bills and the Raiders game mixed up. After the Bills game, they obviously made the switch to Tim Boyle, and it's like, I mean, I get you had to bench him, but like, the fact that you were even relying on Tim Boyle to be your backup at that point is just that's organizational malpractice, considering, I'll mention them again, Carson Wentz was on the market, and Josh Dobbs went for a 6, and rumors even had it that fucking Jacoby Brissett was available for a...
Yeah, I mean, I want to say you also could have gotten, I think they could have gotten someone like Jameis Winston or something.
I mean, Jameis Winston too, because the Lord knows that the fucking Saints don't need him. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So yeah, I mean, with all due respect to Tim Boyle, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He started games in the NFL before. But the only reason this guy has a job is because he's friends with the guy who runs the team, the quarterback of the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
wasn't he on the team last year?
I don't see a reason why he would still be on an NFL roster right now if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers. That's just me being...
Wait, what wasn't Tim Boyle on the Jets roster last year as their third string QB?
No, he was not. I believe he was on the Bears last year.
He was on the Bears. He played one game for us.
I don't know why. Yeah. And the previous teams learned why this guy was not a viable quarterback option, and yet the Jets were like, we're good with him going into the season as our third string. If something happens to Rodgers, he'll be the backup. No big deal.
Yeah.
And what do you know? We're in fucking week 12, and this man is starting games now, and it's looking like he might be the starter for the rest of the fucking season. Which brings me to my other point. You literally... I'm not even saying this guy's good, but Trevor Siemian at least has proven to be a better option than Tim Boyle in his NFL career, and yet he is the backup for some reason. I don't really get that either, but... Like, I get it. Once Rodgers went down, the season was probably fucked either way, but you could have at least tried to make the playoffs this year and break the fucking playoff drought. I don't know.
My whole thing with that is their best chance to break the playoff drought was with Zach Wilson. But the problem is I feel like the Jets were calling plays like Aaron Rodgers was their QB, not Zach Wilson. To get Zach Wilson going, you have to establish the run.
Oh wait, that's a good segue, because I can now start talking about the Jets coaching staff now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I am going to quote. I'm not going to finish the quote. I'm going to quote a certain NBA reporter who said something about James Harden recently. Is this man dumb?
Ooh.
Because I mean, look. I mean, obviously, we all know why they hired him. It was to get Rodgers, and hey, they got him. But once he went down, I don't think he does not realize you can't just call the offense like Aaron Rodgers is still in it, and where he gets to the line and then sees what the defense is doing, and then like makes the proper changes. No, you have to like use like pre-snap motion and other actual creative play designs to maybe make your offense look competent. Nobody's expecting this great offense with Zach Wilson at quarterback, but come on, you could like, there were ways it could be better. Come on, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, I don't really think there's a better play calling option on the team at this point, but which sucks. But at the same time, I mean, I'm just begging for anything. I mean, I'm not getting it at this point. It's too late in the season. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened already. But like, come on. I just want a little bit of exciting offense, because this is like the perfect combination of a boring offense. It's not even like a regular bad offense. This is like historically bad if you've seen all the numbers.
Yep.
I presume you guys have.
With this much talent that they have on display, especially offensive potential, they should not be anywhere near this bad, regardless of who your quarterback is. And the idea is to me, if you have Zach Wilson as the guy, you have to overhaul him. I think this is the best that we've seen of Zach Wilson. He's better than last year, which is something to say, but not by much. And they're forcing Wilson to be somebody who's not.
I don't blame Zach Wilson because he's basically been thrown into an impossible situation in a year where he never should have really seen the field. He should have been the third string quarterback and basically redshirting this year, and that he would not play barring some unforeseen disaster. And a better backup quarterback would have been on this team already to help.
But to me, I would have felt like that Zach should have been the backup learning from Rodgers. That's what...
let me say this. I do agree that, yes, this was the year. Like, yes, I understand, like, with Zach, it's like, obviously, you want to see him get that chance. However, with how mentally destroyed he was after last season, I feel like this was similar to what Jake said. The best option for Zach Wilson this year would have been to have him just be redshirted this season.
Like a redshirt year in college, where he just doesn't play whatsoever. Hopefully, you'd hope, obviously. Because in the NFL, I mean, as we know, unforeseen disasters can lead to him having to see the field. But, like, you're not, like, one hit away from him having to see the field, at least.
It's not even that. It's like with Rodgers, how that the injury to Aaron Rodgers completely derailed the season. The fact that it happened only 5 seconds into the season, too.
That being said, I do have a few takes on Rodgers himself. I do not think he should come back this year because this team is not worth coming back for. I get he wants to play and prove, oh, look, I can come back from this injury quicker than anybody and I can still play at a decent level. But I just feel like he's risking his health doing that, and he's not. There's really no point in doing it for the team because I don't see how this team is winning another game for at least the next few weeks. Maybe they fuck around and win one or two, which they probably will in Jets fashion because they always do. But, like, I don't see how this team is even getting close to the playoffs right now.
Yeah, the way I see it with Rodgers,
Dolphin sex, it's working.
Good for him that he's ahead of schedule in his rehab. Like, I think he should come back.
I mean,
it's just not worth it.
Even something like
now
that.
if this team had found a way to scrape out some wins and still be in the hunt, that would be a different story. I would be in favor of him coming back then, but they're not. So,
yeah.
I mean, my thing with people know that my sister is a physiotherapist, and coming back from a tendon this quickly is literally impossible.
Well, it's not even just that. It's also the fact that he's fucking 40 years old trying to do this. He's not like some young athlete in his prime.
Yeah.
But don't you get
not like other
looking back on
power? Oh God, I'm gonna eat.
Looking back, this though, he did during training camp. He did have a calf strain, and that should have been a warning sign because calf strains, when you're like getting up there in age, usually can lead to an Achilles rupture if you're like a professional athlete.
Yeah, I can confirm. By the way, I can confirm. I just want to say I can confirm. Oh wait, sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say I should have been more alarmed by that than I probably was at the time because, like I just said, there's calf strains usually lead to a rupture especially when you're up there in age. Okay, you can go.
Yeah, especially in age and stuff, and it's like I can confirm because I do sometimes I do calf exercises and all that, like calf rises and all that, and I can tell you sometimes when I go overboard, I can feel like a bit of pain in like around the Achilles area. Like I can sometimes feel that pain, so it's like the calf is definitely like it. If there's like a calf injury, that should definitely be a warning sign for the Achilles because it's like it's closely connected.
Once again, that goes back to the issue of the Jets just treating Rodgers like, oh, there's no way he gets hurt, even though he's a 40-year-old, and obviously 40 as you get up there in age, you're more at risk for injury as an athlete. That's just how it always has worked, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I should. Okay, speaking of the Jets offense, I also want to mention that the wide receivers. I mean, look. Obviously, the way they built the receiver room this year, it was pretty much Garrett Wilson and the Aaron Rodgers fun buddy show.
Yeah.
And when Aaron Rodgers isn't around, it's gone about how you expect it. It's really fucking ugly. Like, for example, Alan Lazard was the big free agent signing, big wide receiver free agent signing. Rodgers' friend, he'll be a good compliment to Garrett Wilson.
And
well,
hey, he won Iowa State. You know who
he
else
has been
won?
anything but that this year. And I can see why Packers fans were so ready to get rid of him this offseason. Because, good Lord, all this man does is commit back-breaking penalties and drop passes, it seems.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that in that Chargers game where he just kept doing that over and over again.
I will give Robert Saleh credit for this. He at least has held players accountable this year when they're not playing up to their contract. He made him a healthy scratch, which was the correct decision. And also, I think it's pretty clear at this point that Corey Davis, looking back on it, he definitely made the right decision retiring looking at this team, but it definitely did hurt this team more than I think some people thought it would at the time.
Yeah.
1000%.
Corey Davis, he's not. You'd prefer him to be your wide receiver, but I think as wide receiver 2 in this offense, he would have done a decent job at the very least. I don't think he wouldn't be like a complete liability.
Also, I keep confusing him with Corey Taylor from Slipknot for some reason.
I'm sure Corey Taylor would have still failed in the Jets offense.
I was gonna say Corey Taylor would have fucking retired too. You kidding me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now I think I should talk. I'm gonna talk about Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas now. They were, when I was putting the bullet points together, they were at the top because, well, they're the coach and the GM. Everything goes back to them, right? So
Yeah.
With Saleh, look. I feel like with Saleh, the guy obviously has his issues with, like, a lot of the times the team can be undisciplined, committing penalties and stuff. And then sometimes his quotes after losses can be annoying to listen to and all that, but, like, I find it hard to put a lot of this on him. He's been dealt a really bad hand. With all the Zach Wilson stuff and being tied down to some of these players that obviously that's the GM's responsibility to sign them. That's not really his call most of the time. And I really do wonder how different this perception of him would be if, like, he was just in a better, more stable situation. Because I see a good coach in there. It's just always felt like he's been missing something.
I feel like the big thing that Robert Saleh has missed is the ability to develop a quarterback. He's a defensive coordinator. Working with offensive personnel and players isn't exactly his cup of tea. I think he can have a very strong defense, but how is it when you're developing an offensive line to protect your QB? How are you developing your quarterbacks and wide receivers?
You can tell in his press conferences, too, that he does not agree with the approach that's been taken because there have been coaches fired and stuff over the past few years that he had no hand in and that he had a good working relationship with, and none of those guys are really there anymore, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like,
and I want to say, regarding
Saleh,
Saleh,
hands are tied at this point, and it's hard to blame a lot of this on him, to be honest.
Yeah, and I can tell by, like, just his reactions in general, like, just the way he looks on the sideline, you can tell that, like, I feel like his passion is just not there like it was earlier. He's lost his passion.
The Jets have destroyed another man's passion for the game.
Yeah, it sucks to see. It really
At this point, I want him to go back to San Francisco so we can regain his love for the game.
Yeah, or just go anywhere and be a defensive coordinator. Like, just so he can feel something again.
Usually, what unfortunately happens is most coaches who don't work out the first time are rarely given a second chance.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't think he's ever going to get another head coaching job, which is unfortunate. But
I
in the
would like
NFL,
to see Robert Saleh coach college football.
that being said, I feel like if there's defensive coordinator openings, he will be one of the first calls people make if he gets fired this offseason.
For sure.
You know what's a good way of...
I'm thinking of a certain team that calls themselves the Cheeseheads up in Wisconsin.
So, see, what I was gonna say is a good way to fast track becoming a head coach again. Play a coordinator job for the Minnesota Vikings, because it happened with Tony Dungy, it happened with Monte Kiffin, it happened with Mike Tomlin even.
Well, I don't know if that would work.
But was Tomlin a head coach before he went to Minnesota?
Okay, so I guess Sal will wait out the Vikings job and then he'll take that once Brian Flores gets hired as head coach again.
I think Robert Saleh would be better off building a college program in the college football ranks. I think there's some school out there that's in the purgatory tiers, your Sun Belts, your CUSA, your Mountain West, your American Athletic Conferences. I believe Saleh could build something special in there.
Yeah, I've like seen the rumors with like Dan Campbell that he might take the Texas A&M job.
Oh,
I don't think Saleh would be a perfect college coach too.
They don't know what to
I do want to say, speaking of Campbell, I actually want to say, like, in terms of defensive coordinator jobs, where if Saleh ends up going somewhere, if he wants a defensive coordinator job, I will say with the way things are trending right now with Aaron Glenn, I don't think it's impossible to say if Saleh gets fired and he gets a defensive coordinator job elsewhere, I'm telling you, the Lions, they would be a great contender for him.
Saleh's from Detroit.
You know what?
He literally grew up in Michigan, so it's like the perfect.
Yeah, he's from Dearborn.
I'm sure that if he wanted the job, the Lions would gladly try and make it happen.
Well, they'd be on their hands and knees for him.
Dude, I feel like if most teams need a defensive coordinator would be on their hands and knees for him if he got fired.
Yep, I can confirm that from my own experience right now.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, here's my spicy hot take. Your next coach of your Michigan Wolverines is Robert Saleh.
Wait, hold on, Jake wants to talk.
All right, I was thinking I could switch to Joe Douglas now because I'm gonna be a bit harsher here.
Tear this man apart.
Okay, so I'll start off positive here because there are some things I do have to give him credit for. I mean, he came in 2020 when Adam Gase obviously did his fucking had his fucking paws all over this team. It was not good. It was looking really bad, and he managed to turn what at the time looked like a fucking expansion team roster into at least a somewhat competent NFL looking product. That being said, though, let me pull this up quickly. We are in year 5 of him as GM, and his record is 24-52. That is not what you want.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the downfall of him, it all started on a night in April of 2021 when with the second overall pick he took Zach Wilson. I mean, most GMs when they make a pick that badly don't get another year or two usually. He was lucky he even got to keep his job after that. And what he's done this offseason has not helped because pretty much most free agent signings since he's been here have not been good whatsoever. And this offseason was no different because obviously he signed McCole Hardman. He's traded midseason back to the Chiefs. Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb, Rodgers' friends who have done nothing since he got hurt. Dalvin Cook. I mean, I get why they did it at the time, but he is literally cooked. I don't really know what else.
People, I told you Dalvin Cook was garbage, and did anybody listen? No.
Meanwhile,
Okay. I think even Dalvin Cook would have had a better season on the Vikings.
Okay,
I
okay,
get
moving
it.
on from coach.
He's washed. Okay. And he did that instead of signing a wide receiver like, I don't know, maybe fucking DeAndre Hopkins. He's not the D Hop he used to be, but I still think he's a productive NFL receiver playing for the fucking Titans, who don't exactly have a great offense either.
Mm.
They're starting a rookie quarterback too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and if we're being honest, when you look at his draft record, besides the 2022 draft, where obviously you got Sauce, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, it hasn't been great either. So, when you combine the bad record with the bad drafts and the bad free agency, I mean, don't get me wrong, compared to Jets GMs of the past, he still looks like the greatest GM ever, but that's like the bar is in fucking hell there. That's not exactly saying much. So, like, now granted, like I said, he did help get this team back to a spot where they could actually maybe make a trade for a guy like Rodgers and, like, try and go for it, but it just hasn't worked. So I think I feel like, if anything, he needs to go more than Salah. Personally.
I feel like honestly, like the way I see it with Douglas, I feel like the big mistake, like obviously drafting Wilson has not panned out the way that, obviously you wanted to see happen. But I feel like the fact when it came to this offseason, instead of doing more for like, I don't know, the O line or something.
The offensive
Yeah,
line, the wide receiving core.
You just
I mean,
bend down, you just bend over and sign Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers school bus to the team. Like not like getting Rodgers was perfectly fine. It's just
now, obviously,
bringing
look,
guys.
I'm going to mention it with Rodgers again. If Rodgers is playing, I think it obviously looks better because Rodgers would help alleviate some of the issues, but he would mask every issue on this team.
Yes.
Yeah, going back to that chart of like worst offenses ever, I noticed the 2002 Houston Texans, and I couldn't help but be like, yeah, I noticed that this Jets reminds me a lot of the '02 Texans, because both teams were like, they had like maligned quarterbacks, but it wasn't their fault. It was that sieve of an offensive line. Like, like I get that they signed Elijah Vera Tucker and he got hurt, but
They
like,
drafted him. They drafted him, and he.
I don't know how, like, the Jets have spent a lot of high draft capital of offensive linemen that just haven't panned out at the NFL level.
I mean, they've signed free agents too. They signed Laken Tomlinson in 2022.
they got
And
another Aaron Rodgers buddy in Billy Turner.
They also signed Dwayne Brown in the 2022 off.
Dwayne Brown's old. He was the best part of the Seahawks O line. Then we realized, oh well, we have no more uses for him, and casted him off.
And then Dwayne Brown, at this point in his career, he's just old and he's cooked, which isn't really a surprise to anybody. He's played in the league for so long now; it was bound to happen at some point.
And I feel like it doesn't help with the O line that it feels like whenever I see the Jets O line, it's like, damn, this O line, hey, this O lineman's showing some promise. Maybe they can build something around him. Oh, never mind, he got injured because of the MetLife turf monster.
Fun fact: the Jets this year have now had in Week 12 8 different starting offensive line combinations.
8.
I mean, it's really hard to have a successful offense, no matter who's under center, when you're shuffling the offensive line that fucking much.
Yeah.
Offensive line play around the league is already as bad as it is. You're having to dip into your backups every week. That is just not a recipe for success. And yeah, I mean, many offensive linemen have gotten hurt from the MetLife turf this year, but that goes without saying.
Yeah, that's an entirely different discussion right there.
I mean, I could talk about that's a good segue into me talking about fucking Woody Johnson.
Oh boy.
It is.
Oh, Woody.
He's the one I hate. I have more hate for him than I do fucking Douglas and Salah, because Jesus fucking Christ, Woody. I don't get it, man. It's like your pride is ruining this fucking team, man. You are stubborn and refuse to admit that when something you invest in fails, it is basically a sunk cost fallacy, and you refuse to give up on it. Like, for example, like I mentioned, Zach Wilson. It is. I feel like if Woody Johnson just let his pride go, he wouldn't have been on the roster this year. He would not have been in a position to play. And I mean, look, obviously, all the fucking political stuff he does, which isn't great. I mean, I don't agree with most of that shit he does, and he just has a bad history of getting his fucking hands dirty with everything the team does, instead of letting the people who run this team just do their fucking jobs. And it's, God, it is infuriating. And you know what? But and because of how everyone knows how successful this team has been over the past decade, the ticket prices keep going up every fucking year for season ticket holders. Like, yeah, Woody, you're doing a great job keeping fans on board with you. Keep it up, my guy. You're doing a wonderful job. But guess what?
Yeah.
He doesn't fucking care because he raises ticket prices. People go to the games, and because of that, he's got more money in his pocket. He doesn't give a shit about the fucking football team. He doesn't care about that shit at all.
As
He's
long as he gets Fireman Ed out to spell
He's an
Jets every year.
he's an empty airheaded fuckhead who couldn't manage a fucking target.
But
Quote
like
that,
I said,
Yeah.
quote that certain Chicagoan again.
Mhm.
All I can say is Woody Johnson makes James Dolan look like Joe
Woody
Lacob.
Johnson cares more about fucking Donald Trump's election than he does his own football team.
I mean,
Yeah.
my
Wait,
whole
on it-
my
I
whole
gotta
thing
say,
with
the
it is
way-
like who like 100% like who's the would be the official owner of the
I mean, look,
MetLife?
when he went to London a few years ago for the Trump cabinet stuff, it was his brother running things. But I believe in 2021 is when he came back.
No, my question is who is like the main who's the like you know how the Rams own SoFi? Who's the team that 100% owns
What do you mean? What do you mean by
MetLife?
that?
What team owns
Stadium?
MetLife Stadium?
Or is it a 50-50?
Or is it 50-50? Cuz
Uh,
I know I've heard turf stadium, but people have torn their Achilles tendon on just grass stadium for goodness sakes.
Well, I think Woody Johnson and John Mara should both share blame for that fucking disgrace of a turf.
Oh, don't get
However,
me wrong. I still think that the Giants stadium is just the worst.
More people need to get fucking hurt before these billionaires pony up money and actually get a real fucking artificial grass.
But my whole
Yeah, it says something. Well, it says something when people are asking for when people are like, even NFL fans who have not liked this trend, they are cheering on when Taylor Swift fans are calling for the NFL to change the whole turf thing because it's like, goddamn, what will it take for the NFL to realize, hey, like they have to tell these owners, hey, this shit isn't working. Please change
Hey,
it.
look, if the fucking Swifties got that shit, man, I wouldn't say a bad word about them ever again if they got that shit fixed.
You know who else is against turf? FIFA, one of the most corrupt and hated sports organizations in the world. They are against turf.
When the World Cup comes to fucking MetLife in a few years, they're definitely going to be using artificial grass and not have them play on their turf.
Yeah, it's like at this rate, it's like why not
you mean
change
natural
it then
grass?
if you know that's gonna be if you know it's gonna be coming.
Fucking shitty turf when the World Cup plays games at
I
MetLife.
will say, you know, as much as the as much as Ziggy Wilf and the Vikings have been imbued in controversy over the years, they've poured a lot of money into making sure that their turf actually functions good, like like how it's supposed to.
Well, yeah, but yet, like fucking Woody Johnson and John Mara can't take some money out of their pocket and make sure the players have good playing conditions. Like,
Mhm.
and fucking players
Then
are
again,
actively complaining about it online too. It's gotten that bad.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Then again, the Vikings
Need all this
have
money
gotten an A+ on
about it.
you know,
That's how you know something needs to change.
conditions for playing.
Just the way I see it with how the Jets are owned, like this, the vibes and the stigma I get from like the the likes of Woody Johnson. It's just the vibes I get from that. It's the same vibes I've gotten all these years from someone like a Reinsdorf or a frickin' McCaskey. It's the same vibes I get.
Even the old James Dolan, because I'll give James Dolan credit, he's managed to stay out of controversy over the past few years.
Thankfully.
Yeah, but now it's not. I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf is the biggest clown owner in sports right now. I would still say that because
it's just it's more like it's like he's old. He doesn't care about the teams, and he's not going to care because, as long as he's getting enough revenue at the end of the day, he's not going to give a shit.
Like I said,
I mean, Woody Johnson. All those guys also sound like another certain billionaire who.
I mean, but that's just most billionaires, though.
It is. It's just
there's one in particular who, for years his company was putting out a bad product, but he didn't care because of the revenue.
Oh yeah.
It was Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a fucking scandal for him to get pushed out, and even then, he was still trying to sneak his way back in there.
Yep.
Until the funniest outcome happened. Ori Emanuel, TKO bought WWE, and they were like, well, you're with us now. We'll let Triple H run the show. You're done. Get out.
Yeah, perfect scenario right there.
He thought, well, I'm selling the company to TKO. They want me here. That means I'm going to be able to maintain all creative control. And then they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. WWE's doing record money with Triple H under creative. Why the fuck would we change that? Because we want to make money, don't we?
Yeah, and it's the way I see it. It's just obviously in some shape or form, billionaires will be scummy, but there's just a certain level. There's a certain level when it comes to certain billionaires who will go out of their way when it comes to running a sports team to just say, you know what, I don't give a shit. People are gonna fucking pay me regardless.
Yeah, as long as
there's another guy, another certain billionaire of Aiden's ire that is just like that. He is worth $2.9 billion net worth, and he is the cheapest fucking scumbag on earth.
The fact that
You're talking about the Glazers or John Fisher?
I was talking Fisher.
I'm talking about John Joseph Fisher.
I thought you were talking about David Zaslav for a minute there.
No. Hold on.
David Zaslav. I hope he gets fucking run over by a fucking train or something.
My big thing is that what I believe that the government should be doing in the USA is if these owners that are using taxpayer money to fund their stadiums should not happen. Period.
100% yes.
Meanwhile,
100%.
you got fucking Steve Cohen already building a fucking giant ass fucking community around Citi Field that's gonna eliminate all parking. While these other owners are being fucking cheap and won't even spend on fucking players.
I mean, with baseball, to me, it's such a mixed bag.
I will say, not having any parking, based as fuck.
I feel like baseball is the worst owners that are like the cheapest.
Easily the worst owners.
Yeah.
Not just John Fisher, you also got fucking Dick Monfort and Bob Castellini and frickin' who else am I forgetting?
Reinsdorf.
Reinsdorf. The old Nationals owners, when they cheaped out at the end and went into a rebuild, I know they were not liked. But whoever the Marlins owner, I believe Bruce Sherman is his name. He's also been notoriously cheap, and obviously Mark Atanasio.
The fact that the Marlins pissed me off so much because they were about to have one of the greatest turnarounds, and they're like, nah, we're good. We don't want to be competitive. Like, to me, it feels like the only way the Marlins will ever win the World Series is if all their prospects are ready at once and they have, like, the perfect storm. That's how they'll win the World Series. They're never going to spend on free agents, and when it's time to pay their players, they're just going to let them walk in free agency or trade them.
Yeah, you have all those cheap owners. Meanwhile, Yankees fans are complaining that Hal Steinbrenner didn't spend a fucking $1 billion in the offseason every year.
Dude,
for real.
Baseball's just weird.
Will you ever not be a bunch
like,
of
there's still something called the fucking luxury tax.
They're just teams that won't spend. They won't spend like the fact that the most embarrassing thing for me is the fact that the A's total payroll is less than Aaron Judge.
My worry is that teams like the Mets and Padres spending and not succeeding is going to just enable these cheap owners even more to not spend money because they're going to be like, look, these teams spent money and they were bad. Why would we spend
I
more
do
money?
agree with that. I do agree with that. However, I feel like the triumph of a team doing that will overshadow that, aka
Big
the
time. The
Texas
Rangers spent money and they spent money that supported their top prospect pool.
The Rangers got a perfect mix of money spent and prospects.
Like
I
the
feel
fact
like
that the Rangers, it disgusts me so much. The Rangers are going to be good for a long ass fucking time, whereas the Mariners, we're just going to keep circling the fucking toilet bowl.
At least the Mets aren't broke like the Padres are now.
Yeah, the Padres, like their whole aura of off-season champions. Off-season champions can kiss my ass. Like, but that's just the reality of these small market teams. You're gonna have to spend, and you're probably not gonna make any money off of it. Which, if you're an owner, is that appetizing? No. Also, Padres are the first team to lose out on their RSN deal.
And also, you have to, if you're a small market team, you have to make good trades too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The fact that the Padres are as anti-clutch as ever is.
If you're not going to spend money, you're at least going to have to make good trades.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like for the Padres, they're gonna have to shore up that payroll, but eventually, this team could be competitive. They might be competitive, but I think the first things first. I think the Padres are gonna blow up their payroll by a significant portion until they get a new RSN figured out.
Yeah, 2024 just feels like it's going to be a fucking reset year for them.
Yeah, especially with the whole. Especially considering I think they have to get a new owner because yeah, he passed away.
Yeah, rest in peace, Peter Sedler. He was one of the owners that I actually liked.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he seemed like he was a nice guy who genuinely cared about the team.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I want to say, speaking of owners who cared about their team, I know Luke said this when he was talking about the Seahawks a week or two ago and their previous owner.
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen.
He saved Seattle sports. That man, if that man never took over in the Seahawks, I don't think the Seahawks would be as good as they were. Hell, I don't even think they'd be in Seattle anymore. The fact that the Allens have been such a great owner for the Seattle sports, it's compared to what a lot of other teams have to deal with. I think Paul Allen, and his sister Judy Allen are probably top 5 owners in the NFL. They genuinely care about how Seattle goes about things. They genuinely do.
I feel the same way about the Wilfs.
I mean, I just enjoy the fact that the Minnesota Vikings stadium is paid off.
It's paid off. They have a kick-ass performance center, and it seems like they genuinely care about their players there.
It's just the way I see it with owners. It's like, look, I'm not asking for everything from you, but
you don't need to be a hedge fund billionaire who spends so much fucking money.
Yeah, just show me that you care. Show me that you're willing to invest in this team. Show me that you're willing to put on a good product for the fans, and I'll like you. That's all I want.
You have to. I feel like for an owner, you have to be a diehard fan of this team. If you're just a regular fan, I don't think your heart's in it. But if you're a diehard, I think your heart's 100% genuinely invested in how your team performs.
Amen.
Bring up another guy, but fucking the Commanders owner, Josh Harris.
It's to be seen.
You can at least see that he has passion, that he's a fan of the team.
Definitely. I think the best example is the Islanders' new owner. That's a marvelous example of people who...
Granted, anybody would have been a breath of fresh air for the Commanders after the fucking reign of terror.
Oh yeah, 100%. But, my whole thing with new ownerships, the Islanders have a new arena, and their owners genuinely care about how well their team performs year in and year out.
The Islanders' new arena is trains accessible, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you have owners that care genuinely. We need more of that. I think Josh Harris will be fine. I expect him to be a owner. That's kind of what that's infinitely better than what the Commanders have had in the past. So I mean, which is, to me, it's good for all parties around. I just hope at the end of the day, more sports, we get more owners of sports franchises that are like these people who are wealthy and are genuinely diehard fans of the team, because I feel like that's how it's not only is it great for the sport, it's great for the city. I feel like you genuinely do generate that revenue for the city to use versus an owner that's just a cheap scumbag.
Like Woody Johnson. Fuck him, by the way.
Mm-hmm. What about Jim Moore and the Mara family and that free medium soda? Don't worry, guys. When we go watch our first XFL game, medium sodas on me.
Free medium Pepsi.
And it has to be Pepsi. If they have Coca-Cola, sorry, I can't help you.
Bad as Woody Johnson is, I'm just happy he hasn't pulled a stunt like that recently.
Get a free medium soda for every purchase of our product.
Yeah, just literally, it's just like, yeah, come to our games. You get a free medium soda. I just love how that was also in the same fucking season as the quarterback sneak. That's in the same.
Yes. Was it the same? Was it the same game?
You get to watch.
No,
Jake,
but
you get to watch Jake Fromm run a QB sneak out of his own fucking end zone.
yeah.
This is same end zone.
Like, honestly, if I was forced to watch the New York Giants, I would demand a ribeye, a tomahawk ribeye, gold plated.
How is it that for the majority of New York sports, it's bad or mid? The best team to me in New York for sports, for just a fan experience, is the Islanders and the Devils. And then
technically Islanders and
Rangers
Island,
too. Rangers too.
Yeah.
Rangers too. So hockey teams.
Funny that the Knicks and the Rangers are like, at least right now, they're like two good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaking. The James Dolan has just made a great organization.
The James Dolan teams are the only hope for the city. One of the only hopes for the city when it comes to sports right now. How funny is that?
Not New York, not the Yankees, because the Yankees fan, I understand the whole baseball tradition, Yankees royalty. I get that. Because baseball to me, so it's a weirdly mix of traditionalists and modernisms. It's like this weird mix that you have between the two. And then there's just the fucking Mets. And then there's the Jets and the Derp. For football, it's so bad for one of the biggest states in all of the USA, not named Texas, Florida, or California.
I mean, I will say with David Stearns, though, I'm excited for this Mets offseason because they're not going to be spending their entire fucking payroll, so that's good.
I'm terrified. I feel like the Mariners are going to do jack shit this offseason.
I should also add something about James Dolan. I've noticed that Dolan has been a lot less egotistical, and he's been meddling a lot less, which is probably one of the reasons why.
Look, just keep James Dolan in the fucking wherever his fucking box is, and just trap him there so he doesn't get involved. We'll be fine here.
True.
Yeah.
True.
All right, but now it's. Are we done talking about this?
No. Wait, I feel like I just want to get back on topic for another minute or two.
But at the end of the day, what would be the best football in all of New York? Just call CFB. CFB. What is the best out of New York right now?
In the area?
Just period. Who would be the best team?
Probably Rutgers football.
Oh my god, Rutgers.
No.
Imagine how screwed you'd have to be for Rutgers to be your saving grace.
Oh my god,
Actually,
no.
they have a chance to get a winning record tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
I know the
I mean, at
Rutgers.
the very
Rutgers
least,
has had a good season. Don't get me wrong, but the
Hey,
fact that
Rutgers
it's Rutgers is the best football. I thought. Wait, is Duke in New York?
I mean, yeah,
No.
Duke's
No,
in
they're
fucking
North
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Fuck.
Okay. Oh, well, sorry. Hey, sorry, Jake. I'm still learning college football. I'm still
He's
learning.
in Canada.
Anyways, I mean, me and 5 points just share the same pain pretty much every year, and Bengal too.
Oh, and Changang, Jared, who I'm literally gonna have to kidnap him just to get him on the fucking show. If you see him stream, just tell him to join the Sickos cast. Please. Do it. I will literally link his streams. I will link his streams in my server if I have to get his ass on here. I will, like, if I have to fucking hog tie his ass just to get him on. Because he's a Giants fan, and he's a good friend. Good long-time friend of mine. But getting him to do things is just damn near impossible.
I'm not sure if you guys know who Bruce Do is, but I just joined his Patreon and so
Who's Bruce Lee?
Wait, hold on.
I'll
Bruce
have-
do?
Yeah, I'm part of his
I know Bruce
Patreon,
Do.
and I just plugged his
Is
plugged
he a
the
Brewer?
pod-
Is he a Brewers fan?
No, he's actually I think he's actually a Steelers fan, like of all
Ooh.
teams.
By the way,
Yeah,
I would have loved. I would have loved to have seen some of this servers, the Brewers fans. Like I would have been. I loved seeing Brewers fans' reactions when fucking Craig Counsell did the heel turn of the century and was like, "I'm
Oh
joining." the
God,
fucking
yeah.
club." That
I
was
did
like,
been
Yeah.
hoping. Not
that
gonna
was
lie,
as good as
did
I
been hoping.
expected. It was like when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield in 2014. You
Yeah.
never could have seen it coming.
I just woke up to that shit when I got the news. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah, because I remember during the day, like I saw like the managerial news was running, and it was like he's gonna go to a team that already has a manager. And I'm like, who the fuck could this be? And then I saw the Cubs, and I'm like, what the? The Cubs
just
of all
came out of
teams?
nowhere.
What the fuck?
It just came out of
I
nowhere.
thought it would have been a team like the fucking, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a team like. I mean, I know the Padres didn't have a manager, but like that would just scream like a Padres move to me. AJ Preller throws a shit ton of money at Craig Counsell, and he's like, okay, I'll take the money. But it was the fucking Cubs who made him the highest paid manager in baseball. And I'm like, a division rival. I mean, look, I don't think managers that important in the grand scheme of things, but if you can take a manager from a division rival, you got to do it. That's just my.
Yeah.
And, like, you get a coach. If you get a coach from a division rival, I think that helps a lot
Let's just say
more.
those Cubs Brewers series in Milwaukee are going to be very interesting this year.
Oh
Yeah.
definitely.
Especially if the Cubs have a certain two-way Japanese phenom on their team, which
Yep.
I don't know if they're getting him, but I do think it is at least possible.
Who knows?
I mean,
It's possible.
To be honest here, nobody knows what Shohei Ohtani's doing because he does not want his meetings leaked.
Here's an interesting rumor I haven't heard yet.
For all we know, Shohei Ohtani could be in a fucking meeting with a team right now.
I think
Yeah, who knows?
I think he might be a Red Sox.
Why?
Who, Ohtani?
Yeah.
He's a Dodger.
Hold on. I
No,
mean,
I think he's a Red Sox because
there's something to be said
does
for.
commercials with New Balance, and that's where they're based out of.
Yeah, there's something for him wanting to play for a team with another Japanese player on it.
I know, but But here's the thing. I think MLB is going to be the ones forcing the hand of Shohei Ohtani. They don't want. MLB does not want Shohei.
About this, Luke. Remember your whole tirade about Bedard to the Coyotes?
Well,
I'll say
you
this.
know what? Hey, I was right. I'm wrong about some stuff. I'm right about other stuff. So I think Shohei Ohtani is. It's. There's 3 teams that I would absolutely love Shohei Ohtani to go to: the Giants, the Mariners, and the Blue Jays.
I would
Then-
love to see Ohtani go to the.
Those
Mariner?
are fun. Those are incredibly fun teams for Shohei Ohtani to join.
I want to see him go
But-
to the Mariners.
I think realistically, it's either the Dodgers, or somehow the Yankees swoop in with magic. They manage to
very
pull
much-
that off.
Doubt the Yankees are in on it.
No,
We'll
I don't
see.
think it's. I've heard from Neil. He's pointed out some things that the Yankees like to go for band-aid fixes instead of instead of actually going out and getting guys that will actually genuinely help this organization out.
There is one fun Shohei Ohtani team that you guys didn't mention, just because of how absurd it would be.
Where?
Shohei Ohtani, Colorado Rocky.
No.
Imagine him
Oh
playing at
no, no, no,
Imagine him
no,
playing at-
No. That's not even.
no,
God.
They're
That's
not
not
even
gonna happen.
on my radar.
Imagine him hitting 70 homers at
The
fucking
Colorado
Coors Field.
the
That would
Colorado
be
Rockies
fucking-
have a greater chance of getting
That
Tyler
would be
Murray
insane,
He
though.
would hit
And
72 home runs.
Shohei.
The Rockies win 72 games.
I feel
Yeah.
like we're better off
it's
seeing
a-
Brandon
I'll be
Perna
surprised.
doing a first pitch for the Colorado Rockies than
Oh, dude,
Shohei
that happened.
Ohtani is deciding.
If that happened, Brandon Perna might actually watch the fucking Rockies this year.
Oh, he would.
Yeah.
If Shohei Ohtani goes to the Rockies, I don't fucking
This
know.
show,
Someone
well,
has-
you know, here's the thing. If Shohei Ohtani signs with the Rogers,
You know,
I'll
like,
quit
Fox News
YouTube.
or
There you
something.
go.
Someone has to do something if he signs with the Rockies.
I will stop. I will. You know what? If the Rockies sign Shohei Ohtani, Spencer's gonna watch nothing but VTubers.
Or I would
Damn.
say the A's, but let's be honest, the A's won't even
No.
spend the money.
No.
The Rockies
No.
have shown that hey, they'll be desperate and throw money at somebody. If
But
they
no,
want.
they're not. Here's the thing. The thing with the Rockies is they're just okay being 500. They'll call it their World
Trying
Series
to
is
be
their
500. Trying
Yeah.
to be 500.
It's really hard to believe. I mean, I find it hard to believe Shohei Ohtani, who wants to win, would want to sign with the Colorado Rockies.
Mhm.
That's just me.
I mean, we'll talk more
Well,
about it. Mariners reportedly are out on the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, which is just, oh, hey, cool, that's great news. Hey, are we going to do anything? Oh, we traded Eugenio Suarez, who we don't have 50% of our team's RBI will not be on this team next year. And Teoscar Hernandez and Eugenio Suarez. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that report about the Mariners, and I was like, okay, that's about what I expected.
That's kind of what I got. I think they're. I don't know.
I didn't really have a strong reaction to that report when I saw it because I was like, okay, cool.
I'm sad.
My thoughts on the Brewers this offseason is just for the love of God, find someone who can hit that is not named Christian Yelich.
I mean, didn't they? Here's the thing. Didn't tender one of their pitchers,
why did you
really
guys-
good
why-
pitchers?
Why did you guys trade Mark Canha?
Yeah, we did trade Mark Canha.
He was one of your good hitters last year, and you fucking
Yeah, why
traded-
did you trade him?
Well,
you traded him to the fucking Tigers. Fuck you. Why the Tigers?
Why?
Nothing
Why?
to anything there.
If
Send
you
him
wanted to trade
Detroit.
Mark
What are
Canha,
you
trade him
doing?
to the Giants. Trade him to the Giants instead.
Yeah,
At least
why'd
he
you
had a chance to
Why
win.
do you send him the equivalent of baseball hell? I mean, the Angels are baseball hell, but still,
Mhm.
the Tigers are
he
up
was
there.
one of the guys that fell apart in the postseason.
Who,
I
Corbin
know, but
Burns?
like, come on.
No, Kana.
Well, if you're gonna hold that against him, then that more players should be traded since it felt like nobody was hitting for the Brewers in October.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get rid of them all and find somebody who can just hit the goddamn ball.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah,
I didn't know where you were going with that.
we'll see. Anyways, I think we got to get to one of the most important things, which is the pick'ems.
Well, what about the weather?
Then the weather.
Okay.
Then the weather. We
Let
just
me
have.
guess. I picked.
Actually, I was
Who
gonna
has
make
the
as
pick?
I was gonna make as Neil pick, but I thought he's not here, so because you both tied last week.
Oh, lovely! I get to pick again.
I was gonna get as Neil to pick, but I guess he's not here, so you get to pick 'em.
Goody.
Isn't that exciting? You get to pick 'em, man. You get to pick 'em. Are you pumped? You psyched? Because there's no CFB. We did it all last week. There's only
Okay.
Yeah, we already did
um,
college football.
All right, we got Stillers, Bengals.
Steelers and Bengals. Ooh, but ooh.
We got
Alright,
the
first Steelers game without Matt Canada.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how
Stellar's
we
gonna
do.
win that game. Stellars are fired Matt Canada, and They're facing a Bengals team without Joe Burrow.
Not gonna lie, like, you know, the Yinzer, yeah, I know it's trying to be the Yinzer voice, but I'm not gonna lie, you sound like SpongeBob's impersonation of Squidward.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
SpongeBob's impersonation.
I thought it was more like Squidward, if anything.
SpongeBob's
Yeah,
impersonation.
Oh god, you know what, it's like, this
I'm
is
now
the kind
tempted
of
to
game...
draw Squidward in a Steelers jersey just for that.
You
Imagine
know
Yinzer
what, might as well
Squidward.
do that.
I play the clarinet every day, but I never get any better.
Oh god. Steelers Bengals. I mean, I said it, like, this is the kind of game where it's like the Steelers could very well lose this game because it's the Steeler way. However, the Steeler way also resulted in finally being freed from Matt Canada. So just for that, I feel like I'm required to pick the Steelers here.
I shall take the Steelers too.
You know what? I'm gonna be the crack smoker again. I'm gonna take the Bengals. You know, I feel like you know, Matt Canada was ironically the least of their problems.
I disagree. Like, yes, I understand their offense is shit, but like, come on, Matt Canada is literally Matt fucking Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, fair point, but still, I still don't feel great that they chose to hire from within. You know, like,
Yeah,
that
I
feels
do
a
agree with that. I do agree with that, though. And yes, I have heard about the rumors of Ben Roethlisberger being their next OC.
Oh god, why?
Leader of Ben.
Leader of that offense.
Good lord. Alright. Aiden, who are you picking?
The Steelers.
Stellars? Okay.
Oh, and minor NBA update: Warriors defeat the Spurs 118-112. Just saying this because I'm watching the game.
Spurs are 3-12 and are bad, so you know it doesn't support. I still don't get the play-in round. I don't get it.
I mean, the end-season tournament.
Whatever. Makes
there you
no
They're
go.
basically
sense.
all these like gimmicks.
Yeah.
The gimmicks makes no bloody sense. All right, Spencer, what's the second game?
Okay, this next up is the teams I do not trust worth a damn bowl, the Ravens and the Chargers on Sunday night. Because, like, I don't trust either of these teams. Like the Chargers manager, but like
I'm gonna pick the Ravens just because they're not coached by Brandon Staley.
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens.
This is guaranteed to end up being a one-score game at the end. Like, it's literally all but a guarantee. I mean, I feel like the Ravens will have the advantage because of their defense, because of how great their defense is. So, I'll go Ravens. I just want to say, though, about the Chargers, just seeing the way he reacted last week post game, something just tells me Brandon Staley's job is getting closer and closer to meeting its end date. I just want to say that, like, there's the way he reacted last week in the post game was like, damn, he's sounding like Joe Judge up there. Yeah, he sounded like Joe Judge up there.
He almost sounded like Matt Eberflus.
Okay, the thing is, Eberflus is more boring and less dramatic, but at the same time, annoying as shit. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Who hasn't picked this game yet?
Spencer, who are you taking?
You know what? I'm going with the Chargers. I don't have that big trust, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, the Ravens can be very unpredictable when it comes to how they play. I mean, I don't. It's not like, I mean, these upsets. Well, they're not upsets. They're the regular predictions. But these predictions are actually like, it's like I don't agree with them, but it's like, I could see it happening.
It's not like previous weeks where it's like, "Are you smoking crack?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun headline for after the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I suppose we should get into upsets then, huh? Unless
All right, time to do a line of cocaine. South Carolina beats Clemson.
Ace.
And becomes bowl eligible.
Yeah, it would be very based.
So I'm taking South Carolina as my upset.
all right.
Who do I want?
You know what? Um, here's a smoking crack take.
Stanford over Notre Dame?
No, not in the college realm actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take the Giants over the Patriots. You know, like, honestly, I was pretty impressed with Tommy De. No, I was I was gonna say impressed with Tommy DeVito, but it's more like he's somewhat better than the dead fish known as Mac Jones.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? I'll take. You know, I was considering, I was genuinely considering some of the games y'all picked, but you know what? I'll do this. I'll go with, you know, it feels strange to trust them, but considering bowl eligibility is on the line and the fact that the team they're facing has, not looked great these past couple of weeks, you know what? Fuck it. I'll pick California over UCLA.
Yes, I love that. That was going to be my other one. I love that. I love that one.
Well, there goes your upset, Aiden.
I love that one. So California over UCLA. I love that one. That was going to be my other one.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about California versus UCLA. You know what? I'm gonna pick it just to be a sicko.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Alright. Wild cards. I think for next year's pick'ems, I'm going to allow CFB games that are a spread of 3 or under.
For wild cards?
For wild cards. Any calls for next year, any games that are 3.5 or under. Because I'm not doing any fucking Alabama over Middle Tennessee bullshit, but however, if it's Alabama over Georgia and it's somehow not a ranked game, it somewhat spreads under 3, sure. Green light that
something
shit.
like Iowa State over Kansas State for Farmageddon, which is not my first wild card, to be clear.
All right, my wild cards. I'm gonna go with low hanging fruit, Kansas City, obviously. And for my second wild card, I'm gonna have a pick that's gonna piss off 1/4 of this group, but make 1/4 of this group happy. Minnesota over Chicago.
Ooh.
I don't blame you.
So it was Chicago and Kansas City.
No, Minnesota, he said.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna take Denver, and I'll take the Eagles.
Who do I want? I will. I'm gonna go with my first wild card because they just find ways to win no matter how ugly it may look. Eagles over the Bills, and God, I'm deciding between these two games. Which one do I want? Hey, yeah, Luke, hate to say it, but Actually, you know what? No. You know, I'm not gonna pick them. Fuck it. I'll go bold. I'll take Texans over the Jaguars.
What was your other one? Were you about to say
I was
Washington
I was
State
gonna do the
over?
Broncos. I was gonna do Broncos as well, but it's like, ah, screw it. I'll pick someone else.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were about to snort a line of cocaine and go, you know what, Luke? Fuck you. Washington State over Washington.
No.
Okay, no, that's fine.
The game for Washington to lose was last week, and they didn't lose. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah,
So-
they could. I mean, bowl eligibility is. I think I underestimate how important bowl eligibility is for college football.
Yeah.
Your wild cards.
Me?
Yes,
All right. So, in the interest of my jinxing power is too powerful, and I don't want it to affect teams I actually care for. I'm gonna go with teams that I'm kind of neutral towards now. You know, because I don't want to anger God.
Oh, gotcha.
So my first game, I'm gonna go with the Indianapolis Colts and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
This one, I'm gonna take the Buccaneers because you know, as nice as Gardner Minshew's mustache is, you know, Baker Mayfield, he's got an underrated Fu Manchu when he chooses to grow it.
Wakeland Meyerfeld.
You know, it's the mustache ball. And for the other game, I'm gonna take the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm gonna take the Falcons because they put up more of a fight than the Saints
Wait. Did you take Tampa Bay or Indianapolis? Because I heard Indianapolis and it's like, okay.
I took Tampa Bay.
Okay. Alright.
And I'm taking Atlanta over New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, don't let this pick'em segment distract you from the fact that Auburn lost by 21 points to New Mexico State at home last week.
Ooh. And I think on that note, it's time for the segment that really puts the asses in seats. It's time for the weather, baby.
Sunny and cold. That's
It's
how
cold
the
as
weather
hell
has
here.
been.
It's
Sunny
cold
and
as hell.
cold. Because I guess what, folks? I went outside for 2 whole minutes.
And then he got too cold.
And then I said, fuck that shit, and walked right back inside.
So he went inside, grabbed a blanket and a hot cocoa.
I wanted some hot chalky. So
All I'm gonna say
hot
is,
chalky for my tum-tums.
all I'm gonna say is, Luke, Spencer, you guys are gonna find this temperature like nothing, but here it's 42 degrees Fahrenheit, and at midnight it's probably gonna be like 36 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, Muffin.
Yeah, baby.
Muffin, you're fine.
That's a little...
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine, but
just gonna
I'm sure a lot of
say,
people
with
here are
Vegas,
good.
Yeah, I'll just say, right now, Vegas is starting on like Sunday, like in the morning on Sunday. Vegas is gonna be on a freeze watch.
Ooh.
So I mean, right now it's basically been in like the 50s, and like at night, like at night and early morning, it falls into like the 30s and all that in terms of like what the temperature actually feels like and all that, and it's like it's probably just gonna be remaining that way for December. So like, I mean, definitely like lower. I mean, it's a bit lower than average for Vegas, but it's like, you know what? It's the kind of weather where it's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this kind of weather, even if it's chilly for our standards.
And you know, I'm assuming the guys for F1 are just like, how did Vegas weather do that?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I won't lie. I think the funny thing is, I think the hilarious. Hold on, was there like? I gotta make sure. Was this the right place that I talked about? Yeah. What's funny is that also apparently I think it was like fucking raining in Qatar at the same time. So apparently, like the fact I just find it funny that the comparison was made with Qatar, and Vegas it was cold and it was apparently raining in fucking Qatar. So, Yeah.
That's a certified F1 bro moment.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
certified words turning
Wow.
to words ended up backfiring badly in ways you wouldn't expect. But
Get
yeah, I
ready to
think
learn
that
from Rob, buddy.
yeah, it sums up the weather pretty well.
And for me, it's been a little cold here in Grand Rapids. It's been getting down into the lower 20s at night, and you know, only been getting up to barely above freezing. You know, we're for all you non-Americans out there, it's been lingering around 0 for our highs, which that's been fun.
It's not bad.
Uh, we're actually supposed to get a bit of a snowstorm uh, starting Sunday, and that's going to turn into plain old lake effect starting on Monday. And so, yeah, we are officially entering our snowy season here in Michigan, um, which means we're gonna have to deal with we're gonna have to cull a bit of the herd that doesn't know how to drive in the snow.
Driving in the snow's not that bad. Just drive at the speed in which you are most comfortable with. It's not that bad to drive in the snow.
It's literally a skill issue, and yet these people never learn.
I know these people never learn, but I mean, I've driven in a blizzard delivering pizzas. I've driven in a blizzard because I wanted Red Robin. You know.
All I can say is, it's a good thing that California doesn't have snow, given how California drivers are.
All right.
Yeah, sounds very appropriate.
Well, we talked about smoking crack earlier. I guess we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Jim Irsay's statement about getting busted for smoking crack in 2020. So, for those who don't know, Jim Irsay just recently came out and spoke on his arrest 10 years ago, and he had some really choice words to make about that. Uh, Let me see what he's. Yeah, he says he got prejudiced against for being, quote, a rich white billionaire, and that if I'm just the average guy down the block, they're not pulling me in. Of course not.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna stuff some stuff. Alright. I wonder if Jim Irsay did a challenge for himself. I think Jim Irsay snorted a line of crack and then blindfolded himself and then made that response. Mr. Jim Irsay, you are in a position that 99% of us would rather be in. I would rather be in your shoes where I could be rich as all hell, have all my needs met for a lifetime. You petty rich ass mofo. Go away. Right? You are what every blind rich person is. Blind and stupid. Just because you have all the money in the world. All the money in the world. Just to make that dumb of a statement, you should be counting your lucky stars. You should be sucking the dick of every ancestor that has led you to be on this path of unimaginable wealth. If we could have even just a fraction, like 1% of your net worth in fluid cash right now, I would be eternally be thankful and eternally be on my knees right now. Get out of my sight, you blind rich motherfucker. I never want to see you again. I don't want you to complain about being a rich white male in this industry when it's the most advantageous position to be in on planet Earth. It's disgusting. It disgusts me how you can think like that. in today's standards when so many people are struggling just to make ends meet, to make such obnoxious mockery statements towards the human race. Just go, Jim. Just sell the Colts. The only good take that you've had is, well, herder, maybe, you know, herder. We should get the Commies owner to sell. That's been your only good take. Just don't make such stupid takes. You are in the best position ever. Be thankful and grateful, you rich, greedy fucking cockroach. Get the fuck out of my sight. Holy crap.
What?
Wow.
Just the way I see Jim Irsay, the way I just see it with this motherfucker is, he is basically like this, the stereotypical attributes that I see from an annoying ass billionaire who thinks he's better than everyone else and that he deserves better than everyone else, like he hasn't already gotten more money in his life than just about anyone will ever see in their lives. And he goes out there and says stupid, out of touch shit like that. And it feels so fitting that this is also this was also made in the same week where Shaquille Leonard got released by the Colts unexpectedly. That's also happened in the same week.
I thought didn't he request his release because he wasn't getting much playing time?
Well, no, he wasn't happy about it, but he didn't request his release. Like, he was probably gonna be gone after the season, but nobody was expecting him to get released, like, right here and right now.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not really surprised no one picked him up off of waivers. Sounds like it's gonna be a vet minimum contract.
But, like, honestly, it's annoying ass shit from the glue factory. It's like, you know, you hired a good coach, you got a promising players, you got a promising young quarterback that hopefully you don't ruin like your last promising young quarterback. However, it's shit like this that just feels like a massive fucking distraction for this team.
I mean,
It's just
let's be
annoying as
honest.
hell.
I feel like the adult's only level of distraction is when Jim Irsay opens his goddamn mouth after he does a line of cocaine. I think it's even funnier how he wants to sue Stephen A. Smith. Grow up, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Grow up. Just
Yeah, he
grow
wants to
up.
sue ESPN in First Take because they literally just talked about it, and it's like, he's like, oh, we can't, you motherfuckers are lying about me, you fucking pieces of shit. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, just shut up. Like, pull a James Dolan and just shut up.
You see, we've learned something really special, especially when it comes to the world of sports, and that is when owners that talk shouldn't talk. Period. They should not be talking. They should not be uttering words of any word of the English dictionary other than I will suck off every one of my ancestors that helped me to be in the position that I am in today, which is the luckiest position that a small fraction of us will see the wealth that you have. Just Jim Irsay, sell the Colts, please. I'm done. We're done.
For anyone listening, don't do drugs, because it'll turn you into Jim Irsay.
Yeah, that would be the most effective PSA about drugs. Just, if you do drugs, you'll turn into Jim Irsay. That's how you actually scare people away from doing that.
Big time.
Or don't do coke, do weed instead. Be like Mike McDaniel, not Jim Irsay.
No,
Yeah.
how about just don't do drugs? Just drink water, have a healthy diet, eat your fruits and vegetables.
I just want to say, speaking of weed, I just want to
Deadlift
say,
115 pounds.
I do want to talk about something because I just find this whole thing so funny that like it basically fooled the entire internet. Like, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have seen the whole Snoop Dogg ad promotion thing. The freaking ad thing he did.
Was he gonna stop smoking weed? Then, haha, here's my new line of weed.
No, it was like
it was not weed. It was a smoker or something, or like a
it was like
stove.
a smokeless stove. Yeah, a smokeless fireplace.
What? Stupid.
I got debated, bro. Like,
that's stupid. It just sounds
Yeah, it was
stupid.
giving up. It was how he was talking about how he was giving up smoke, and it was just a freaking ad for like a smokeless fire pit collab, which is honestly hilarious. It's like it's the shit I expect from Snoop, because literally the only guy who I've seen in more commercials in my life that's outside of Snoop Dogg is freaking Shaquille O'Neal. Like they are literally like there is at least a 50% chance that if you see a commercial, Shaq or Snoop will be in that commercial.
although I will say, that recent Shaq commercial with Pepsi, freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was a great commercial. I agree. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how I feel like you shake at it, I think it's quite funny. I mean, weed doesn't affect the brain as much as people think it does after the age of, like, what, 25?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm talking to anyone, but that's a bold marketing strategy. Very bold.
Well, it was just
I mean, to
funny
be
as hell.
honest, I think I've heard people say that, athletes smoking weed is a lot more acceptable than athletes getting drunk. I think it was the NFL coach who said that he'd rather see his players get high than drunk.
Yeah, it's just well, especially considering some of the incidents that have happened with NFL players when they get drunk.
Mm-hmm. Simply put, yeah. I mean, especially if weed helps players recover better, then by all means, smoke your joints, boys.
Yeah.
Just don't do crack like Jim Irsay.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you'll start. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll pull a Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the less said about him, the better.
Don't be Jim Irsay. Be Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
Like I swear, Mike McDaniel always looks like he smokes weed before interviews.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel was the only reason Al Michaels had any fun in the broadcast booth today.
Oh yeah, McDaniels is always fun. I like McDaniels. He's just a fun guy.
I know.
Yeah. I got two things left. Do you want to do thing A or thing B first?
I don't know.
I guess we'll do A.
A, alright.
Let's do A.
So, the NBA is, if I were to ever just be a bench player in the NBA or an NFL practice squad player, I'd rather be on the bench in the NBA because you make you can make $1 million per year. You don't put much strain on your body. You can be completely average and make a crap load of money when it's your prime, which is completely hilarious. This gentleman, you seem promising on the Thunder.
Oh God, here we go. Yep, I know where this is going.
What are you? It is Josh Giddey.
That's Josh Giddey, yeah.
What are you doing? Especially since I'm hearing you're a promising NBA player. And your hands,
you're fumbling, bro.
Being an NBA player, especially if you're on the tier promising millions and millions of dollars from the get-go. From the get-go! Especially if you get, in the NBA, if you get called up for doing an Onyo. Dude. I mean, is the NBA starting to investigate this?
I think the Thunder have. I mean, I'm sure the NBA. I know something. I know Shams and Woj tweeted something today about it. I'll check to see it because I know someone's investigating. I don't know if it's the Thunder, the NBA, or just both. I'll check the Woj tweet. Let's see what he said.
I mean, first we get Wander Franco, who, I mean, way to kiss your millions of dollars, buddy.
So, okay, here we go. It was a retweet from, Sham said the same thing. The league is looking into allegations that Thunder guard Josh Giddey has been involved in an improper relationship with an underage girl. An NBA spokesman said Giddey and
Oh,
OKC coach,
God
yeah,
damn it!
yeah, OKC coach declined to comment. But, yeah, yeah, so basically what happened was, and I saw this live, this happened on Wednesday night my time, so Thursday morning for those who, live out east, but I just open up Twitter and all of a sudden I just see a shit ton of stuff about Giddy, and it's like I see stuff like, oh god, he made his Instagram profile black, it's over, he took Thunder out of his bio, it's over. Like, okay, what the fuck happened here? I click the trending tab, and the first thing I see is Josh Giddy trending with Karl Malone.
Oh!
I saw it on Peak Hoops. They
Yeah,
mentioned
so
something
basically,
about it.
by the way, let me just say, he's not a bench player. He's a starter, by the way. A
Mm-hmm.
starter.
Like, I use bench players like the baseline.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah,
The bench
position.
line, the baseline. Yeah.
But
like
this
basically
guy
what
is like
happened
a
was,
full-time starter that makes stupid amounts of money, no matter how good
a
or
young
bad
player
you
too.
get.
You have your entire career ahead, and basically the allegation is that apparently he let's say got into something with a high school girl that was aged from ranging from like 15 to 17.
I'm hearing 15.
You know what? Even
Yeah.
if you aren't an NBA player or an NFL player or whatever, don't fucking have sex with children. It shouldn't be this hard to explain.
It is not that fucking hard. It is not that fucking hard. Like, God. Like, it says something that, like, and I feel like this is a big test for the NBA right here. This is a big test, because, let's just say, the NBA, especially in recent times, has been getting called out for their handling of stuff like domestic violence and, stuff like, players, like, and how they, players who have been, fucking creeps. And I mean, a recent example of someone being a domestic violent piece of shit was Miles Bridges for the Charlotte Hornets. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, the NBA, like, I'm pretty sure he got, like, suspended, like, I mean, hold on, let me see this. How much did he get suspended? Because I know he was out for all last season, because, I mean, obviously the shit show that was going on behind the scenes with all that crap, but, like, the fact that he was, like, people called it out, because it's like, okay, you gave him a 30-game suspension. It's like, I mean, I understand 30 games is a good amount. However, for the fact that this dude basically beat up his girlfriend or wife, it's like it feels like the NBA is not taking enough accountability. And I will say, I feel like this has been a trend, because people were wondering, why did Ja Morant only get like a 25-game suspension? Well, the reason they gave him 25 games is because they didn't want to give him more than Miles Bridges, who got a 30-game suspension, which the argument I see there is, okay, you should have given Bridges a longer suspension, because recently the NBA has definitely been called out for their handling of this, and I mean, even Charles Barkley he pressed Adam Silver on TNT like right as the season was starting about his handling of stuff like this, and it doesn't help the NBA's case here that they refuse to acknowledge what Karl Malone did. That the good majority of people now, more and more people, are figuring out what Karl Malone did that has made him such a hated person.
And don't even get me started on the whole Dylan Brooks situation.
I mean, the way I see it, it's just the fact that they refuse to acknowledge it, and even, like, literally during the All-Star game, like, in 2022, I believe, they literally had, like, Karl Malone, it's, like, one of the, like, I believe they had, like, Karl Malone as a fucking judge for, like, the dunk contest, which is, like, god damn, the NBA is so tone-deaf with this. I mean, it is public information what this motherfucker did, and the worst part is, he's never faced any punishment for what he did. That's the worst part. More than the shitty crap he did, he's never faced any punishment for what he did. Not even a fucking trial, or even like a court case for it. He's never faced anything for it.
Well, I mean, if you want perfect microcosm of what it's like for the what it's like with the NBA. You know, look at how much of a uh how well Marv Albert gets treated after his allegations.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't even know about that until I found out about it. I didn't even know about that, which probably says to how well it's been hidden and all that, but like damn, I mean that was yeah, I was like, God damn, whoa, there is an entire Wikipedia section on about his sexual assault case, but like yeah, I mean it just says the NBA has not been doing a good job when it comes to this, and it's I feel like if they don't, permanently suspend Giddy, if it turns out that what he did is legit, which I'm not gonna lie, it's not looking good for him considering Chet Holmgren deleted one of his tweets about Giddy, which is like, oh dear, this is not looking great. I mean, it feels like the NBA really needs to handle this situation well, because if they don't, like, it's gonna be a really bad fucking look for Adam Silver. I mean, granted, he's not the only commissioner who's making himself look like just a
Yeah,
Dumbass.
scumless piece of shit.
sexual
I mean, we
assault
could get to we
cover
could
up
get to
guy.
that other commissioner in a bit. However, yeah, it's just they gotta fucking handle this well.
They do, but usually just like most leagues, they don't. It's just back-winded statements made by the organization. Because like look at like Deshaun Watson, they didn't do right. Trevor Bauer confirmed. I'm like 95% like he's made a statement. He's
The
innocent
Brad
as
Aldridge.
is for now.
You know
Like
what the ironic thing? You know what the ironic thing is? The ironic thing is that the NBA among all four major leagues is the one that takes pride in being like socially progressive and all that, and yet they're the ones who are enabling all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not a shocker when
I
it comes
think
to
with the one thing that the
most.
NBA, as much as they like to really empower their players, they need to make sure that when their players are with the right people, that they have the resources there that can help these players out. Because I really feel like
Amen.
just from what I've seen from just all like league wide, there's a lot. I've never see like as much players like the NBA who are like guys that are I mean I hate to use the race appropriation for it, but I've hardly seen like you see NFL guys that are hanging with the wrong crowd. Their careers are essentially over before it even begins. Whereas like
Mhm.
NBA, they can hang out with the wrong crowds and have rather long careers and make a lot of money and hang out with the wrong crowd too, and they end up getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, I mean, just the way I see it, it's really, it's a level of elitism when it comes to the way the NBA will treat certain people, and for general, all sports league when it comes to people that are well known or will make will make your product more interesting, regardless of how they've done in the what they've done in the past, which I will say, I mean, I understand that yes, there will be people. It's much harder to take down someone that has a very storied past, even if they've done something very shitty, because it's like, well, they've been here long enough. It's very hard to take them down. Unlike someone new, getting fucking busted for this shit, and a lot of people do not want to fucking have to repeat that as time goes on, especially with more attention when it comes to stuff like domestic violence, Me Too movement, and people who abuse minors and all that. You know, there's a lot more attention to that now, and there's a lot more ramifications if you get caught for that shit, and rightfully so, because people don't want a fucking repeat of the past when it comes to someone being a piece of shit but never getting called out for what they did.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really hope the NBA does it right because it's very rare that we see leagues do things right, especially when it comes to cases of this. I mean, there's sometimes they get it right, especially if it's ever domestic violence. Go on leave immediately even if it's allegations at that point. I mean, if it's fake, we have lawsuits that that completely solve that, especially if it's, keep in mind, if you do make false allegations, I think it's to set examples with those, because especially if it's a star player who's immediately put on leave without pay, that's millions and millions of dollars that they're missing. And if you punish those people who actually do the wrong thing here, I think that will help deter a lot of fake cases if we can focus more on the real cases that pops up from these
This is my
leagues.
opinion. This is my opinion. If you are like, if you fake that shit, like if you are saying like, oh yeah, this happened to me and it didn't, and there's like video or like photo evidence that you are lying about that shit, I feel like you should face severe punishment. But that's just me.
Especially like the punt god. Apparently that was fake. Like he didn't.
Yeah,
He didn't. He wasn't
I mean,
apparently there, and he's lost out on a $50 million career because of this.
yeah, that's one where it's like, yeah, like the way it's looking, it's like, I mean, apparently what happened was apparently something did happen, but like the guy in question, the punter in question, was not there, and that was the problem with that.
Yeah.
Was okay. It seems something did happen, something really fucked up did happen, but he wasn't involved in that.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that he made a burner account going back to all the comments made about him and being like, yeah, well, no,
Okay, that was unnecessary. It's like, okay, dude, like that's just focus ahead. Forget, like, don't try and bring the attention back to that shit. Like, just, dude, it's you're if you're innocent, then like that's great, but don't be trying to just do useless shit like that.
I'm just
100%.
defending myself. Stop.
I mean, I can understand
It's
why you want to
Twitter.
defend yourself, but it ends up, especially when, you know, from what we've seen online, like the best example is Dream. Dream's been trying to defend himself for so long. It's exhausting to hear it, and the fact that the voice actor of Gumball just completely clowned on him. I mean, he's had to defend himself from a lot of hate, but there's some times where you just have to take a step back and just let
Yeah.
the things die down when it's been 100% confirmed that you are an innocent party in all of this. Then you come forward and say, I was this, my life was made of this. It's best
I mean,
to be quiet.
the thing is with Dream, the thing with Dream is like, honestly, and I hate to have to talk about this because it's an annoying ass situation.
Mhm.
I mean, just the way I see it, it's like, I mean, I don't, like, for the most part, I need to see more evidence that he did what he did, because I have not seen anything confirmed. However, I will say, I feel like Dream, in the past year or so, the way he's acted and the way he's portrayed himself, I feel like has done him no favors when it comes to the way the internet is judging him. I
Big
just want to
time.
say that. Because it's like, honestly, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he did what he did, but I can understand why the internet found it hilarious that the freaking voice actor of Gumball fucking roasted him like that. Or one of the voice actors of Gumball fucking
The
did
OG
that.
one.
Mhm. That is,
Yeah.
that's the timeline we live on, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is, but it's especially this situation at the end of the day. I hope the situation is done right for all parties. If these allegations are false, that's great. If these allegations end up being true, I hope that his time in the NBA does come to just a swift conclusion. Like, we don't need this in sports. And again, a reminder for young players, your actions in your personal life can impact your career on just such a huge front. You have to be very, very careful with how you portray yourself as a professional, especially with rookies. They stress this time and time again, especially with these young men that are about to make these life-changing money, that you have to care about yourself in the public eye. Like, you have to carry that torch a
And
long way through, because if you
God, if
don't,
she's not 18, don't.
they should be, you should be knowing about this in college. You should know about this in college. College, man. Just, jeez Louise, you should know about this in college.
be basic fact that you don't sleep with underage women.
Or how about you just don't sleep with somebody unless it's your life partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with? Come on.
Yeah. I will say, I think we've, I think that's been, I think we've summed that up very well. What was the second topic you wanted to talk about?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering one of the biggest games in college football tomorrow. Ohio State versus Michigan. The biggest game of the college football year is upon us tomorrow.
An absolute shame I do not give a rat's ass.
I know, Spencer, because you like Iowa State. I know. But I'm saying from a generalist perspective, this is the biggest game of the year. If whichever team loses, do you think they still make the CFB playoffs?
It depends, but I feel probably not. I mean, it does depend, because I do think, regardless of who like loses, I do think there's a scenario for each team to make it in regardless, but it's like, it's not a likely scenario.
I'm interested. I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's like, I love tomorrow. I love, like, week 13 is usually, it was my favorite last year. I mean, we saw Oregon State upsetting Oregon last year. Ohio and Michigan was a phenomenal game. Washington and Washington State played one of the greatest Apple Cups I've ever seen. I only saw one. Like, I'm excited. I'm greatly looking forward to the next step for both of these programs. This is the last game that's in the Pac-12 for Washington as a whole. And
Final Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, no more. This is the last Pac-12 after dark. And my last question for everybody is, who do you like for the... What 4 teams? Well, if you had to pick right now, what are the 4 teams that you would pick? Would you say most likely make it into the CFB playoff? Hashtag I wish it was 12 this year.
One of them would probably be Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's the obvious one.
The winner of the Michigan Ohio State game might be the second one.
Yeah.
Third one. Sorry, I'm blanking.
All right, I'll do mine. I'll do mine. Here's the way I see it, because it's basically Georgia, winner of Ohio State versus Michigan, winner of Washington versus Oregon next week. That would be one of them. Yeah, and if I had to say a 4th team, honestly, I'll go Texas. They're my 4th team.
All right.
I'm going Texas. I'm going Texas because Florida State doesn't have their quarterback, sadly, which fucking sucks. I hate that for the Seminoles, but
Seminoles we're gonna be in the plus. All right, who's ready for my crack snorting take? I think first spot
go ahead
is going to be given to the winner of Michigan and Ohio. It's going to be the first spot. They're going to give that to the first spot. The second spot, it's going to go to Washington. Third spot, Georgia. Fourth spot, Alabama. That's my cracks. That's me snorting my crack take.
I'm not sure if Alabama is quite there anymore.
Signal?
Huh?
Your Elgato thing has no signal.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Alright.
It should display Robert Saleh now.
yeah, it does. It does. That's fine.
I turned off my PS4. 5. I mean 5.
I just wanted to make sure you knew.
I knew.
Because I love to hear about you.
I know you do. I know, but you should see me turn off my PS5. and then transition back to this. Anyways, that's just how I see it. I really wish this year would have been the 12 team CFB playoff. Oh, this would have been such a perfect year for it. Because I want to see more of Texas. I want to see Oklahoma. We're going to get the Red Rivalry rematch for the Big 12 championship. Maybe.
Actually, no. I think the way it goes, I think if
is it Oklahoma? If Oklahoma State wins tomorrow, isn't it going to be Texas and Oklahoma State?
Yeah, so Oklahoma State has to beat BYU.
Oh yeah, it'll beat BYU.
Yeah, because Oklahoma won their game. They did what they had to do, but now they need the Pokes to lose.
Here's a, you know what, Luke? I disagree with your take. Why? Because I don't think you smoked enough crack.
Oh no, the smoking. Here's this crack smoking take. In my mind, this crack smoking take would be like Texas and Oregon make it in with Alabama and Georgia.
Still not enough.
Iowa.
Yes.
I would love to see. If it was 12 teams, I would.
Big Ten and by default makes it into the CFT.
Spencer, I would. If it was 12, I would absolutely demand that Iowa is in. Like, I would demand Iowa to be in if it was 12 teams, but it's not. It's 4. But you're right. You're right. I would love to see Iowa. Everybody would love to see Iowa in.
I would love to just see a game between Iowa and Washington and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Iowa somehow wins the game 11-4.
Oh God.
No, Iowa wins like 4-3, man.
Yeah.
Like literally just the most random. It's that we really should have opened up the cabana for Iowa and Nebraska. How the hell did we miss that? Like, the under for the game just kept getting lower and lower and lower.
It was like 25.5. It was like 25.5.
At one point, I thought at one point I heard it was like 18.5 for a football
I heard
game.
something like that. I heard something like that. God damn, it was like...
I want to see if Parker, because I saw from Parker Fleming. He's my favorite he's my favorite numbers guy when it comes to this. Thanks to the Sickles committee for helping it out, but it was even just the stat line for this. How the hell did we just not open up the cabana for this? We failed as sickos. We
pride ourselves as men of faith as there's a deep drive into left field by Nick Castellanos. And so that will make it a 4-0 ball game.
Yeah, we have completely fluffed that up. We have fluffed it up that the Iowa not doing Iowa and Nebraska, because that game, the fact that the geniuses at Iowa threw an interception for Nebraska to throw an interception and put Iowa in field goal range.
Yeah, big brain. Common Iowa 5D chess move.
See, Iowa's the real geniuses.
That's what Ryan was thinking when he coached that offense.
You know what? And when I get my haircut next, there's a guy that I like to talk football with, and I've been trying to get him into he's a Baltimore Ravens fan, but I really want to get him just into Iowa football because it is the funniest games of all time. I got him to watch the Whopper Bowl. I got him to watch that game. He's like that game pissed me off so much. Why did you get me to watch that?
What Whopper Bowl?
The first one. Guardians, Vipers.
Mr. Beast in Orlando?
Yep, Guardians and Vipers, yeah.
Oh, man.
That game was great. I hope there's just a Mr. Beast team that's just ready for this year. Oh my god, I can't wait. But yeah, no, we sincerely apologize. But hey, the bright side, if it was a 12-team playoff, I think I would love, even if Iowa doesn't win the Big Ten championship, I hope Iowa gets at least top 12 because I think they deserve it. And they're not, and their non-existent offense resembles of how my relationship with my dad was, non-existent.
They'll get the national championship by winning 3-2.
Yeah, they'll do whatever they have to do. God, I love Iowa so much. Thanks to the Sickles Committee, we've all become Iowa fans. Thanks to the Sickles Committee. God bless them. The season is good, but next year we're going to 12 teams, and I really am curious if we're going to start seeing the eventual expansion to 32 teams and have the NFL have the college football equivalent of March Madness. I think that would be fun, but it'd be you know what? Screw it. The kids are getting paid anyway, so I mean, you know, NCAA can include some incentives for the players too. Oh, you know, that's just me. But I think that will do it for me today. If anybody has anything else they would like to add,
I'll just say this. I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick. The NHL. The NHL.
Oh
can
shit!
fuck
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
The NHL can fuck all the way off with what they were, with threatening to fine Marc-Andre Fleury for wanting to wear that Native American heritage mask. And shout out Fleury for wearing it anyway.
Fleury, you absolute madman, you. Yeah, NHL.
Fleury should be sent to the. Fleury should be put in the Hall of Fame just for this.
Oh, he will be. Fleury's gonna be a Hall of Famer. He will be.
No, I mean, bring him in there now. Like, forget the retirement requirement. Just send him to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, to be fair,
honestly,
Yager just got into the Hall of Fame and he's still playing. So
yeah,
he's still playing.
it's just amazing to me how the NHL just finds a way to make the stupidest controversies imaginable when they don't need to happen to begin with. It's like, genuinely, why the fuck are you trying to take... Why are you trying to take influence from the No Fun League? Why are you trying to become them?
Here's the thing. Who are you offending with these? Who are you offending with the mask? I saw it was an homage to your culture, to your family. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not Nazi paraphernalia or extreme politics, either side. Right? Like, let them wear what they want. Let them be proud to display stuff on masks. Especially goalie masks are some of my favorite things to see. I love it when a player has one of the most badass masks ever. And if it's too homage to their culture, I think that's even better. More displaying of your cultures and backgrounds so we can be educated and learn as peoples. That is important today. That is what we want from our star sports players, to leave that influence, that cultural impact that they have year in and year out of the games that they play. We want them to be more than just star players. We want them and encourage them to leave a lasting impact on our lives. And it's embarrassing how the NHL just doesn't get it.
Well, I mean, you're talking about an organization that did as close to nothing as they could as far as the Kyle Beach situation.
That is still one of the most embarrassing things ever. I mean, to be fair, the only just thing that I've seen from it is the fact that the current owner gets to miss out on one of the greatest generational prospects. That's the only just thing I see out of it, but it still sours my appetite that Bedard went to Chicago. But you know what? I'll let that slightly pass because Chicago needs something. They don't have anything. At least they'll give them something. They at least get Bedard. And holy moly's Bedard. This kid's so good. Hey, Spencer, I was right about Bedard being a star from day one. He was going to be... I was right about that. I've been hyping this man up for 2 years. I knew how good he was going to be, and he's been just as advertised.
But you were wrong about him going to Arizona.
I genuinely thought that Gary Bettman was going to rig it for Arizona. I genuinely thought that, but he still went to a big market, saying 50-50. But I was right about him being a stud. I was right about that.
I still think he looks like Zach Wilson's brother.
He could. But Bedard carries himself as like a professional, man. He's carried himself like a complete professional, an absolutely incredible player. He's somehow managed to I will be stunned if he can manage a point per game player from his rookie season. That would be beyond amazing if you do that. But hey, the Blackhawks have something there. They just have to build around it, and if they can build around it, oh boy, the Blackhawks are going to be good for a very long time. And I hope we can reunite some of those Blackhawks and Canucks rivalries, because those were fun back in the day, and I want to see more of that. That's just me. But yeah, NHL, get better. Let players display what they want to display. As long as it's like not gonna offend 50%, as long as it doesn't offend 40% of the population, go for it. Just go for it.
Unless it's gay pride, then always go for the gay pride.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure gay pride doesn't offend 40% of the population.
You'd be surprised.
I think it's like in the 30s. I think most people it's like, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. At this point, that's how I see it. It's fine. You're not hurting anybody. I hope everybody just puts rainbow tape on their hockey sticks just to piss off the racist Republicans. I want to see more of that, because the more they see it, the more they realize it's not hurting anybody.
I know I'm just like at the beer league level, but I have pride tape on my stick for that reason, just to piss off Batman.
Exactly. Anyways, does anybody have anything else?
Let me think. Oh yeah, I'd like to say about the new Black Friday game. Like, the idea of like having a game on like Black Friday. I think it's an interesting idea.
I don't hate it, but like if it's, I really wish that they would like schedule it, like they would pick a game to have it scheduled. If it's like pre-schedules like the Dolphins and the Jets, it's, oh boy, here are the scraps. I literally did my bottle return. I really did my whole bottle return during the full duration of the game. This game did not interest me whatsoever. I like the idea of it, but like if it feels the same thing, if it's gonna be just a garbage game, I'd rather we just have that for like
Also,
the 10 a.m. slots.
Yeah, exactly. But the whatchamacallit, the Thanksgiving game's always gonna be like one Detroit, one Dallas,
I'm fine with those two. I'm fine with those two because Detroit's entering a stage of competitive ability, whereas the Cowboys are always entertaining. I will always give them the Thursday night slot, and they did right on this year's Thanksgiving though. But I think they should always be able to flex that Thanksgiving game in and out. But yeah.
Although it'd be nice to see the Lions win one,
I hope they do, but
they haven't won. To be clear, the last time the Lions have won a Thanksgiving game, Obama was president.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was in the freaking Obama era.
Okay, was it first term or second term?
Second.
Okay, it's not too bad. It's still bad, but like if it was like first term Obama, I would be laughing my ass off. But yeah, hey, but anyways, Detroit, I hope you guys can continue to win. Sorry, my bad. Win on I hope you guys win one. Your city's been through enough shenanigans. Been through enough of nonsensical nonsense.
I do have one thing, I need to say.
All right.
Go ahead.
In all our chaos and craziness, I completely forgot to talk about the Vikings Broncos game.
Oh yeah, we need to hear about that. Go for it.
Fuck Kareem Jackson. Don't be making hits like that. And I guess also fuck Sean Payton for teaching his players it's okay to lead with the crown of your helmet. Like that's obviously a big.
I feel like it's only Kareem Jackson. Like the only player that's ever really making really dirty hits on the team is Kareem Jackson. Everybody else, it's fine. Just Kareem Jackson that can't figure it out that you can't lead with the crown, the NFL's suspended him accordingly.
Yeah, I just wish the refs would have flagged him accordingly.
Yeah, how do they not flag? Oh, it's refs. They're always bad. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. I get that it's a skill issue, but come on.
And Spencer, you just lost to Mike Ditka Clone. How does that feel at the end of the day?
We lost to Mike Ditka Cologne. And also we lost to Mr. Bountygate Man.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ditka Clone's just more relevant. Yeah. I mean, this year at the end of the day for the Broncos, this year was what I figured it was after their streaks of just utter embarrassments. It's an evaluation year. Their young guys are playing. They got rid of the underperforming vets, and now they. Okay, last question. Do you think the Vikings? I think the Vikings make the playoffs. Do the Broncos have enough to make the playoffs? Yes or no?
I still say no.
I am 25% yes and 75% no. The AFC's too good. Like, the Browns with the backup quarterback are just completely... They're 8-3. Pittsburgh's gonna BS somehow, and I don't see how Buffalo just doesn't get their shit together. Like, they completely demolished the Jets.
I guess around that percentage as well. Regarding the Broncos, with how the Broncos are going, you're definitely happy with how things have turned around this year. The way with Denver, with their remaining schedule, I can see them. I don't see them making the playoffs, but I can see them finishing with a winning record at this rate, which, I said before the season, I feel like if they want a successful season for this Broncos team, in my opinion, would be finishing with a winning record, which you'll take. You will absolutely take if you're Denver.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Also, I guess we could talk about a little bit more about the Lions-Bears game if we wanted to.
Oh, God.
God.
Defense
The
folded.
great joke of 2023.
Here's my thing with Justin Fields.
Defense fucking folded. We know what happened. Let's fucking move on.
Yeah. I want to save the Bears for when they're eliminated. I think we'll get to more teams when we get to the elimination room.
We'll get to it then, and it might be very soon, especially considering our bye week is upcoming. And I'm just gonna say, let's just say there's a good amount of rumors going around, and even reports going that Kevin Warren's not too happy, which I don't blame him.
I don't think anybody would be happy.
But I've also heard the rumor that he's bringing in his own guys, which at first I was like, what? You mean like from the Big Ten? And I was like, oh God, he means Mike Zimmer.
I swear, if they're gonna just get a bunch of guys from the Big Ten, they're gonna not do any favors for anybody.
I don't see it as that, but I will say with Warren in charge, there is. Look, all I'll say is, it's a poorly kept secret that the Bears have been linked to a certain head coach, and I'm not going to say who that head coach is, but anyone who has paid attention knows who I'm fucking talking about here, but that's a conversation for another time.
Who is it? Is it? Are they linked to Michigan?
Yes, I'm talking about Harbaugh. Yes, I was going to save it for... I was gonna save it for another time, but
No, I get it. We'll get into more of that later, time, but I think that's gonna do it for us today. We'll be back next week. I'll have to talk about that. We'll talk about that once we're done the stream. I want to talk about that. But yeah, we'll see what happens, and until then, I'll see you guys next week, and you have yourselves a damn good one.